For the first time in this millennium, the Detroit Lions and Washington Commanders are relevant. The last time the two teams faced off, 1999, when Washington blasted Detroit in the wildcard round. And since then, the clubs haven't been to the playoffs in the same season. But tonight, two downtrodden fan bases will see their clubs battle for the right to play in the NFC Championship game. Should the Lions win, they'll be the hosts. If it's the Commanders, they'll be traveling to either Philadelphia or Los Angeles. The Lions' revival came down the stretch in 2022, leading to an NFC title game berth last season. This season for Dan Campbell's crew has been about not just returning to the conference showdown, proving that last year was not a fluke, but taking that next step. It's been Super Bowl or bust. With the NFL's top offense and a banged up but scrappy defense, the Lions have the NFC's top seed for the first time in franchise history, marking the second time they have a bye in the wildcard round. First time came in 1991 when they were the second seed. Commanders fans might take solace in the last season, which Detroit had a bye. Washington blew it out in the NFC Championship game. The last time the Commanders were in the NFC title tilt. Washington's revitalization came swift. After back-to-back years in the cellar of the NFC East, hiring Dan Quinn and drafting Jayden Daniels in the last offseason, alongside hiring Cliff Kingsbury as offensive coordinator, provided immediate dividends. And the Cardiac Commanders raised hail and praised Dale. The Kings of the Cubicle with 7 last-minute wins this season, including the last 5 victories coming down to a last-minute play. Quinn's steady hand and Daniels' calming presence showed that no moment is too big for this rookie sensation out of LSU. They believe they can stand with anyone, even a 15-win team. It's somewhat worthy to tell you that these two teams would meet for a right to go to the NFC Championship game. They would have laughed in your face. But for one of these fan bases, the hysteria is going to be at an all-time high. Hello everyone, Alec Nava here with Ian Genji joined with me. How are you doing coming off the 7th straight AFC title game appearance?
You know, there are going to be so many highlights to talk about in that game, but we all know what's about to get talked about. Those two calls in the Chiefs' favor, that's all that's going to get talked about. Not the fact that George Karlaftis had 3 sacks on the day. Not the fact that I think the Chiefs totaled 8 sacks against C.J. Stroud. Not the fact that the Chiefs blocked another kick, or that Travis Kelce is one touchdown closer to breaking the all-time playoff record set by one Jerry Rice. It will be the penalties.
As always, and that talk sometimes, at times it may be reasonable, but here it's annoying to me because the Texans were an undisciplined mess all year long, and this game was no exception. An undisciplined mess.
And let's face it, the big reason, the big reason that those 2 penalties happened was a high hit to the head, and Al-Shaair went low on a sliding quarterback.
That's a no-no. And when a quarterback is sliding, don't hit. That's plain and simple. It's common sense like that in which if you try to hit a quarterback when he's sliding, more often than not, if you try to target the head area, most likely you'll get caught with the penalty. And but that time around, it wasn't the head. It was the chest area, but still, no hitting a quarterback who is sliding and giving himself up. You don't do that. It's basic common sense. Now, as for this game, as we get to the Lions and the Commanders, this late game. So as we preview both teams, we start with the Commanders. This team has been the surprise team of surprise teams heading into the season. Nobody expected them to win 12 games on the season, but here they are, being the 6th seed in the NFC, 2nd place in the NFC East, and possibly in prime position to get an NFC Championship game berth. No moment is too big for Jayden Daniels. They've surpassed every expectation placed upon them, and they got their first playoff win since 2005. And it's easy to draw parallels between this Commanders team and the Lions from 2022, except the Commanders won 12 games, made it to the dance. Quarterback is there. They got a Dan of their own with postseason experience and success under his belt, and most importantly, a new group of ownership that's steering this team into the right direction. One led by Josh Harris, who is in active discussions with Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment and Comcast Spectator to build a new arena for both the Philadelphia 76ers and the Philadelphia Flyers that's set to be open for 2031. Also the plan for this arena is that it's for potential expansion of the WNBA to the city of Philadelphia. But it's an amazing journey for the Commanders. It started the announcement that Dan Snyder was selling the team, more than anything else. It was a dark cloud that was hanging over the team, and the many ways he ruined the Commanders are well documented. As soon as he sold the team, fans knew it was the start of a new era. And it could not predict it was. What couldn't have been predicted was how quickly the team would get turned around by Harris. From hiring longtime executive Adam Peters to getting out of his way and letting Peters hire Dan Quinn and build the roster, to being willing to play for small advantages like converting turf practice fields to grass to keep players healthy, Harris has been the quiet force behind the turnaround for this Commanders team. With a GM, head coach, and quarterback in place, nobody could have predicted how quickly things would turn around. Even the most optimistic fans would believe that the ceiling was 8-9 this year. 12-5 was well beyond anyone's expectations, and Jayden Daniels has taken the league by storm. On the flip side, could we see this rookie in him? What stands out most is his maturity, how quickly he looked like a veteran in this game. There are a lot of young quarterbacks starting for Washington in recent years, from RG3 to Kirk Cousins to Taylor Heineke to Sam Howell. All of them took time to acclimate to the speed of the NFL, and often made a lot of mistakes, only really showing growth over the course of the season. Daniels essentially went for that growth curve through the first 3 games. In week 1, he looked like a rookie, didn't read the full field, quick to check it down or tuck the ball and run it himself. Week 2, more patience, stayed in the pocket, but still showed reluctance to throw it in tight windows. In week 3, he seemed to flower fully into an NFL quarterback. He was steady and composed in the pocket, reading the full field, throwing to tight windows, and still making the plays of his legs when pressure arrives or nobody is open. There isn't really a Washington quarterback acclimating this quickly into the NFL, going from tentative rookie to legitimate NFL starter in 3 games. It's hard to come up with ways in which he still plays like a rookie. In fact, the only thing he really needs to remove from his game is that he still takes unnecessary hits when he runs trying to get a few extra yards. It's a slight build, but he doesn't seem to get hurt easily, but you really want to have him protect himself better on runs. The only team that has made him look like a rookie twice is the Dallas Cowboys, but that's more to do with the defensive players matching up really well with the skill position players at the Commanders and being able to blanket him, which leaves him with few good options. The Commanders' O-line has primarily been built from pieces around the league in which they acquired from free agency. Tyler Biadasz brought in from Dallas. Andrew Wiley and Nick Allegretti brought in from Kansas City. But the left side of the line, with Allegretti at left guard and rookie Brandon Coleman at left tackle, seems to be a weak spot in pass protection. Most of that has to be on the pressure on the O-line rather than the QB. Daniels has been showing very good pocket awareness and ability to escape pressure in the pocket. OL is a bit patchwork, per se. Before the season started, many were predicting that the Commanders having one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. Though they play much better than that. Only Biadasz has been a consistent bright spot. The rest of the OL has been competent and exceeded expectations, but have been mediocre by NFL standards. In specific players, Coleman's a 3rd-round rookie with the athletic profile of Trent Williams, but has looked vulnerable to speed rushers around the edge. Allegretti is an NFL journeyman who is playing well enough to exceeding expectations, but still more at the NFL average level. Biadasz is a plus player. Sam Cosmi signed a big extension this offseason, but had a bit of a down year compared to last year. Wiley seems as up and down games, alternating between looking pretty good and being a total liability. Not sure why. Defensively, Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu have been making the biggest difference. In one off season, Peters managed to transform the linebacker from the biggest weakness to the biggest strength of the defense. Both Wagner and Louvu were named second-team All-Pro because of how excellent they've been this year, alongside Terry McLaurin on offense and Austin Eckler on special teams. Wagner's the heart of the defense and calls the plays there. Louvu's like a high-energy, movable chess piece who specializes in blitzing. The weakness is still a corner. Mike Sanderstill has been consistently the best corner this year, and Washington's been looking for others to step up. They needed Marshawn Lattimore out of necessity as someone played opposite Sanderstill, but he hasn't looked 100% healthy, missing most of his games this season with a hamstring injury, finally coming into play the Bucs last week, but giving up several big plays to Mike Evans. Still, Lattimore's an upgrade to anyone else they have at CB outside Sanderstill. So for Washington, as we look at Detroit, previewing them and their keys to victory, David Montgomery being the first of which, after he missed the final 4 weeks of the regular season, Knuckles is healed up and ready to jump back into the rotation. Heading into the divisional round, he does not carry an injury designation, and he expects to be a full go. While the Lions are welcoming Montgomery back, they should. It's hard to overlook the job Jahmyr Gibbs did. In the 3 games to wrap up the year, Sonic has averaged 25.7 touches per game, 162.3 all-purpose yards, and 2 touchdowns per game. So running a dual backfield has always been the plan for Detroit. And while Gibbs was dominant in recent weeks, coaches believe that together, the pair can take over games. It's hard to argue that point when you look at the numbers, ranking in the top 10 in virtually every rushing category, including checking at number 2 in DVOA rushing efficiency. On paper, defending the run is the Commanders' biggest weakness on defense. Their wide edge alignments, as well as running stunts and twists in the interior, have led to them being unable to hold their gaps. On average, they allow 135.4 rushing yards per game, 27th in the NFL, 4.7 yards per attempt, have allowed 64 runs of over 10 yards, and 2.0 rushing yards before contact. That is especially notable because Gibbs and Montgomery average at least 3 yards per carry after contact, meaning both Lions backs have the potential to average over 5 yards per carry against the Commanders. Second is to be ready for the blitz. Is stopping the run is the Commanders' biggest weakness. Generating pressures is a close second. The Commanders lean on the blitz 32.9% of the time to help the front four create pressures, but it's not overly effective because Next Gen Stats only credits them with 189 pressures on the year. Through their pressure rate at 33% and sack totals 43 are much closer to league average. The defensive front will score off of the Lions offensive line that's only allowed 33 sacks on the season and pressure on just 39% of blitzes. Where the Lions have an advantage is how they adjust to the blitz, typically leaning on Amon-Ra St. Brown. Against the blitz, he has accounted for 27 first downs, tied for the league lead this year with Mike Evans. As a result, the passing offense is the third most effective against the blitz, and the most effective in the NFL when no pressure is applied. Third is the pressure to single high safety. In the last 5 games, the Lions have faced 3 defenses that feature a single high safety over 50% of the time. Washington also falls into the group. They tend to be on a single high safety 55% of the time. This style of defense tends to be vulnerable in the short slot and deep corners, playing to the Lions' strengths. As is the case against the Bears, Packers, and 49ers, the Lions will pepper the slot with targets for St. Brown and Sam Laporta, then test the safeties raised by running Jameson Williams on the intermediate crossers and deep corner and seam routes. Fourth is to win the yak battle. The Lions attack with the above approach, asking their skill plays to create yards after the catch. For the season, the Lions have accounted for 2,643 yak, the most in the NFL, with Williams leading their Lions receivers with 452 yak and Gibbs leading all Lions players with 563 yak. On the opposite end, the Commanders have only allowed 1,639 yak, the best in the NFL, making this a strength-on-strength battle truly. Fifth is to contain Jayden Daniels. The entire offense is designed to optimize to his strengths. His well-rounded skill set has him in the Offensive Rookie of the Year conversation, and he should probably win it. His ability to run and scramble could be a real problem for Detroit. The Commanders will design power runs for him and ask him to execute RPO plays, while also trusting him to scramble when he needs to. As a result, he has averaged an impressive 6 yards per rushing attempt this season. The Lions defend mobile quarterbacks with a contain and squeeze method, involving the defensive line working upfield to pressure the quarterback while maintaining gaps along the way. This leads to less or longer pressure but often results in a contained pocket. Then, if the coverage can hold it behind him, The defensive line continues to push upfield and squeeze the contained pocket, hoping to put the quarterback in a vulnerable spot. Unfortunately, the Lions' success with this approach can be hit and miss because of coverage style. The Lions play man coverage 42% of the time more than any other team in the NFL. They leave themselves vulnerable to quarterback scrambles. For next-gen stats, the Lions have allowed 251 yards to quarterbacks on scrambles on early downs with a 48.3% conversion rate, the fourth highest allowed in the NFL. But on third down, the Lions defense buckles down and have only allowed 60 quarterback scramble yards, ninth lowest mark in the league, and a 22% conversion rate, second lowest, which shouldn't be surprising for the NFL's number one third down defense. Should Detroit want to benefit from success on third down, they need to make sure they're winning on early downs, most specifically on first down against the Commanders, which leads to this. The Commanders put a heavy emphasis on winning on first down and staying ahead of the sticks, while keeping the options open for Jayden Daniels. They've been successful in this approach. If Detroit is able to disrupt Washington's early down success, they will impact the flow of their offense and put more stress on Daniels. That means blitzing to stop the run. Most associate blitzing with rushing the passer, but the Lions have been known to blitz in order to further enhance the contain and squeeze approach, as limited the rushing lanes available to their running backs. And eighth is to be ready for no-huddle offensive drives. Washington hinders the defense's ability to be creative with their blitzing by executing the no-huddle offense. Most teams save the no-huddle for specific game situations, but the Commanders deploy at will, hoping to catch the defense off guard. The goal is to interrupt the defense's ability to change out personnel, getting themselves into favorable matchups with different formations, and limit the defense's communication, including the range of play calls the defense can make on the field when defending on the fly. Further aiding the Lions' ability to communicate is the return of Alex Anzalone. The defensive captain isn't wearing the green dot play relaying helmet, as that shifted to Jack Campbell. Anzalone knows the Lions' defensive scheme arguably better than any player on the field. So when the Lions need to get clear communication in an effective manner, Anzalone is the man to get the job done. So get on to the starting 11, beginning with the visiting Washington Commanders as we are moments away from the kickoff. So under center is Jayden Daniels. Brian Robinson is the running back. Outside receivers are Terry McLaurin and Dyami Brown. Slot receivers Olamide Zaccheaus. Tight end Zach Ertz. Offensive line from left to right, Brandon Coleman, Nick Allegretti, Tyler Biadasz, Sam Cosmi, and Andrew Wiley. Defensive starting 11. It begins with Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen up front. Edge rushers Dante Fowler Jr. and Dorrance Armstrong. Linebackers Frankie Louisville and Bobby Wagner. Mike Sanderstow and Marshawn Lattimore as the outside corners. Noah Igbenogany as the slot corner. Jeremy Chin and Quan Martin are the deep safeties. Kicker Zane Gonzalez, punter Tress Way, long snapper Tyler Ott. Return men are Luke McCaffrey and Jamison Crowder. The Lions, with their starting offensive 11, begins with Jared Goff under center, Jahmyr Gibbs the running back, Tim Patrick and Jameson Williams the outside receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown the slot man, Sam Laporta the tight end. Offensive line from left to right, Taylor Decker, Graham Glasgow, Frank Ragnow, Christian Mahogany, and Penny Sewell. You may have heard Christian Mahogany. That is because Kevin Zeitler is out with a hamstring injury. Defensive starting 11 begins with DJ Reader and Levi Onwuzurike up front on the defense for the Lions. Edge rushers Josh Paschal and Za'Darius Smith. Linebackers are Alex Anzalone and Jack Campbell. Outside corners are Terrion Arnold and Amik Robertson. Slot corner is Brian Branch. Deep safeties are Kirby Joseph and Ifeatu Melifonwu. The kicker is Jake Bates. Punter is Jack Fox. Long snappers Hogan Hatton. Return specialists are Sean Vaki and Khalif Raymond. So those are our starting lineups for both teams. So as we go to our inactive list, beginning with the Washington Commanders. Jeff Driscoll is the emergency third quarterback behind Marcus Mariota, who was the backup. Healthy scratches tonight are Chris Rodriguez Jr., KJ Osborne, Chris Paul, the offensive lineman, and Michael Davis, and Andre Jones Jr. For Detroit, their inactives begin with Teddy Bridgewater, who was the emergency third quarterback after winning a state championship with his alma mater in high school, being their head coach. Also on the inactive list, the aforementioned Kevin Zeitler out of a hamstring injury, Colby Sorsdahl and Giovanni Manu on the offensive line. Pat O'Connor out of a calf injury, Broderick Martin a healthy scratch, and the last healthy scratch is Mitchell Agude. To fill out the rest of the roster, Jeremy McNichols and Austin Eckler for Washington as their running backs. Luke McCaffrey and Jamison Crowder, the wide receivers. Colson Yankov activated off IR for Washington, coming back from a hamstring injury. Ben Sinnott and John Bates being the backup tight ends for the Commanders. Other offensive linemen being Michael Dieter, Trent Scott, and Cornelius Lucas. Defensively, the others being in Sheldon Day, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, Jerjon Newton, Jalen Holmes, and Cleveland Farrell. Linebackers including Michael Walker, Dominique Hampton, and Nick Bellore. Hampton's an inactive, actually. Corners, including Benjamin St. Just. Safeties, Derek Forrest, Percy Butler, and Jeremy Reeves. The rest of Detroit's roster has Hendon Hooker as the backup to Jared Goff, Bridgewater being the emergency third quarterback, Craig Reynolds and Sean Vaki being the other running backs. Wide receivers, Allen Robinson is the other wide receiver in this group. Khalif Raymond is the fourth receiver. Brock Wright and Shane Zylstra at the backup tight ends. The other offensive linemen are Michael Neese, Dan Skipper, Coyote Awosika. Those are the other three. Skipper being grown into a cult hero around Detroit among this Lions fan base. The other defensive linemen are Miles Adams, Al-Quadin Muhammad, Jonah Williams, Chris Smith, Josh Paschal. Paschal's a starter, actually. So Adams, Muhammad, Williams, and Smith. The other linebackers are Anthony Pittman, Jalen Reeves-Maben, Ezekiel Turner, Ben Neiman, and Trevor Nowaske. The other corners are Kendall Vildor, Maurice Norris, and Stanley Thomas Oliver. Detroit's thrilled to have playoff football again, second straight year in which they are hosting a home game. They hosted two home games last year, one against the Rams and one against the Buccaneers. They won both games. 24-23 against the Rams and Matthew Stafford's return to Detroit. 31-23 against the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay did get revenge on the Lions earlier this year. It was back in week 2. The Buccaneers, however, eliminated from the playoffs by the Commanders on a last-minute field goal by Zane Gonzalez that doinked off the inside, the right, upright, and in. So my friends were down at Tampa watching that game for the Commanders. So waiting on standby as we are going through the recap of Chiefs and Texans. It is a 23-14 victory for Kansas City. Touchdowns from Kareem Hunt and Travis Kelce, 1 and 11 yards out. Lone touchdown for the Texans is from Joe Mixon, 13 yards out. The wind has been a topic of discussion around, as the wind was gusting up to 23 miles an hour. The weather is 25 degrees Fahrenheit here at Ford Field, and it is cloudy. 27 degrees Fahrenheit, winds at 4 miles an hour to the north-northwest, gusting up to 7 miles an hour. So it is cold up in Detroit, and we are anticipating that cold weather to continue on outside Ford Field. Named after Ford Motor Company and Henry Ford, as Ford is symbolic of Detroit, as it is the American capital of the automotive industry. Ford, Chevrolet, General Motors, of course, being around that. Buick, Cadillac. Of course, you know the deal around the automotive industry. We're in the divisional round means that we are 3 weeks away from Super Bowl 59, a month away from the 67th Daytona 500. Says Tom Rinaldi is interviewing Dan Quinn on the Washington sideline. And Dan Campbell knows how to motivate his guys. 27 degrees Fahrenheit here in Detroit. Clear skies. North-northwest at 4 miles an hour. It is January 18th, 2025 here in Detroit, Michigan. Right on the borders. Detroit is a border city as it's close to the Canadian border. Its neighboring city being Windsor, Ontario. Lions won the coin toss. They'll defer to the second half. Or actually, the Lions, they'll receive it first. I think Washington won the coin toss. They'll defer to the second half. And Zane Gonzalez will be kicking off back deep to Sean Vaki and Craig Reynolds. 47 and white. Gonzalez going from 0 to hero in that night at Tampa Bay. The kick is up from Gonzalez. We're on the way. Let's get rocking and rolling from Motown. And this ball goes out of bounds to begin this game. The Lions will start from their own 40-yard line. Not the way in which Gonzalez wanted to begin. Not the ideal way to start for him. Especially coming off that thrilling victory as Craig Reynolds let that one go out of bounds. How often do you see this? Another factor here that Washington is a perfect 3-0 against Detroit in the playoffs. The Commanders are looking to extend that tonight. Lions are changing up the formation here. They have Sam Laporte positioned to the right of Penei Sewell. The first play is, of course, a run. And guess who's back? Back again. Knuckles is back. Tell a friend. Well, he got 2 yards on that first carry. It's at 72.4 completion percentage this season. 15-2 with 37 touchdown passes. 111.8 passer rating. All of those stats are career highs for Goff. Finding that spark in which he was a Los Angeles Ram back with Sean McVay. Amon-Ra St. Brown motion towards the left side. Washington was ready for the run. Dante Fowler Jr. blew up the run. Up the middle. And it's a loss of 4. Maybe even 5 yards as Fowler swung right by, unblocked. Taylor Decker missed an assignment. Amon-Ra St. Brown missed this assignment as well. Sets up 3rd and 13. We've converted 48% of their third downs. 4th in the NFL. Goff with an empty set. Pressure with the outside left towards the middle side. Broken up. It went off of Tim Patrick with Marshawn Lattimore in the vicinity. And it's a quick 3 and out to begin this game. That'll send Jack Fox off to punt. 1 minute and 7 seconds in. Not much there on that drive that started from the 40-yard line and will pin Washington deeper than they anticipated to be. Jamison Crowder being the return man. Fox is the punter. Snap from Hatton, and this is off. Line drive kick. This may go out of bounds. And it is. Around the 20-yard line, and that's where Jayden Daniels and company will start. The Lions have a more blitz-heavy approach ever since Aiden Hutchinson went down to injury. Look to be on a potential Defensive Player of the Year run before the season-ending injury. Should the Lions win, Hutchinson has an outside chance of returning at the NFC Championship game. Daniels with 268 passing yards on the year. The Lions having, of course, 15 wins. No 15-win team has won a Super Bowl in a long while. Not even the 16-0 New England Patriots or the 15-1 Carolina Panthers. 1 minute 15 in, Daniels looks middle, finds his man, and that is caught for 5 yards by Zach Ertz to begin this game. The longtime Philadelphia Eagle gets the rhythm going, and here's the hurry-up offense in which the Commanders are utilizing to try to catch the Lions off guard. 5.5 yards on the first play. 2nd and 4, officially 4.5 for what it is. Daniels to the right, swing pass for McLaurin, gets by for the first down. Gets 7 yards as the hit was applied at the end by Kirby Joseph. and that catches Amik Robertson. Robertson has been playing out of his mind as of late. It's a bad time for him to get injured, knowing the many defensive injuries to the Lions this year. Hopefully Robertson is okay. We'll step aside for the moment. Tough scene here, Detroit. Amik Robertson has been playing amazingly well. It looks like his left arm collided with one of his own guys, Jack Campbell, it seems. He got up in his own power, but is holding onto that left arm. Oof. Yet the replacements coming up here. Ryan Branch position in the slot. Daniels on a play fake. Swings it out right, left for Dyami Brown. Forced out by Branch. Brown had himself a field day at Tampa Bay last week. Tied for the team lead in receiving yards with Terry McLaurin on 5 catches. Commanders using the hurry up, looking to get the Lions off guard defensively. Looking to tire them out. Terrion Arnold position towards the left side. 3 receivers to the right and 1 to the left. Shotgun set. Jeremy McNichols as the third running back. Lions are applying the pressure. Daniels swings it out to an open man for the first down and taking off. This is Austin Eckler. Spins out a man and is finally down inside the 40. Took a swing pass, read the blitz, and took off and ran with it. The pressure and from Brian Branch and the Commanders were able to read it for 24 yards on the right side as Eckler shook off Ifeatu Melifonwu. First down here in Lions territory. Shotgun run towards the left side. This is McNichols. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. About half a yard to gain for McNichols. So the Commanders still look to reset as McNichols subs out. They're utilizing Eckler as a second running back. Once again, it is up-tempo offense. The defense getting set now. 25-9 touchdown to interception ratio are the Commanders. Of course, the Commanders love to do hurry up all over the place as Daniels watches this well over Austin Eckler, threw it away. 3rd and 9. Maybe some miscommunication that time around as it hurried Daniels up. Coleman's a rookie on the 3rd round left tackle. Ryan Robinson Jr. nowhere in sight for this first possession. They have used Austin Eckler most of the time, because these are passing situations the majority of the time. Washington 6th in the NFL in 3rd down conversion rate at 46%. Transformation right, 1 left. We might have had a jump, and a flag is down immediately. The question is, who is it on? We'll have to see the verdict from Ron Torbert. They have ruled it on Tyler Biadasz, the center for Washington, for a false start. It's Torbert wearing the uniform number 62. So this officiating crew is all over the place. The majority of it from Brad Allen's officiating crew. Biadasz moved up and moved his head to try to get the Lions to jump, and that was the no-no. They get the Lions to jump. And the timeout's on the field as Biadasz is having a disagreement. Cliff Kingsbury wants to have a word with that about Biadasz moving his head. Who knows if that is so that there is the basis of the false start. So it's now 3rd and 13 as everything gets reset. Empty set for Daniels. Lions bring a heavy blitz. Daniels dumps it off to the right side for Crowder. Makes a man miss. Dives! Did he get the first down? They will have to check it. He's going to pick up 13.5 yards, and it might be a first down. It will not. It is 1 yard shy, but Washington is not afraid to go for it on 4th down and very short. Marcus Mariota on the field for a rushing situation. He is under center, pushing ahead, and the Lions pile drive him. He was tied up and tangled by Al-Quadin Muhammad. And that play call being a very bizarre one. Washington is intending for this to be a quarterback sneak, but it looked more towards one of the worst trick plays ever, in which Indianapolis tried to convert a sneak from Griff Whalen at the time, in which they didn't look to try to run a play. The logic is there, but it's bad execution. Detroit ball when we return. Marcus Mariota motion behind Tyler Biadasz to try to get a sneak in. The Lions saw this one coming and read the quarterback sneak, sending everyone to counter that play. But that situation, I don't know what it was, but it gives the Lions back the football. We'll see what they can do with it this time around. Both these teams' first drives ended up with nothing. We're 4 minutes and 22 seconds in. Play fake. Goff dropping back, throwing a dime to the right side. Jebo is right there. Johnny on the spot. First down. 19 yards right after that turnover on downs forced up the middle as Williams forced Sanders still to miss. When you turn on the afterburners at the right side, that's going to catch anyone by surprise. 5 minutes deep in the first quarter, motioning left is the second tight end, Brock Wright. Commanders trying to bring extra pressure to defend. Running play towards the right side, hold a run, Gibbs carrying a bunch of defenders on him, 15 yards on the second play from scrimmage, and they're further into Washington territory. Another first down on the second play of this drive. And once again, Sanders still have another tackle. Lions going with the Commanders playbook and going no huddle. Goff drops back to the 45, dumps off left side for Sonic. He's at the 15. Pandemonium here in Detroit as Lions fans are all standing up, watching their team going down into the red zone. First red zone possession from either team. And we're 6 minutes deep. Jahmyr Gibbs getting a lot of action early in this match. He's had the last 2 touches. This one went for 23 yards towards that left side. I set St. Brown motions to the right of Sewell. Running play towards the right side. Gibbs cuts back. Activates up front. Jahmyr Gibbs. He is shut down at the 5-yard line. He was forced out at the 14-yard line. That was where the first down marker was at. Now, Sonic is going to take his turn and toying with this Washington defense. Excellent block by Penei Sewell at the right side to hold off Dorrance Armstrong and Mike Sanders still. Scotty Montgomery, the running backs coach, does know a thing or two about pounding the rock. The Lions have converted in the red zone 69% of the time on offense. Inside toss for Knuckles. It's his turn. No touchdown, but a first down. 4 yards up the middle as he goes up the gut on the inside toss. And he will sub out. So he will go out. And Dan Skipper is reporting eligible. The Colt hero for Detroit. They're going with 6 linemen and 3 tight ends. Laporta, Wright, and Zylstra. Gibbs is the running back. Zylstra's lined up as a wide receiver towards the left. Laporta's a tight end to the right. Zylstra in motion, going to the inside. Gibbs, touchdown! Rings and chili dogs. Speed galore. Jahmyr Gibbs, rolling around at the speed of sound. It's a counter play with Gibbs faking towards the right. And that faked out the Washington defense, including Derjan Hewitt and Daron Payne, who were right in on Gibbs at the beginning, looking to blow that play up. But it was nothing there to blow up. And Gibbs gets the touchdown from 1 yard out. Effective outing for him as Bates nails the extra point. It is 7-0 in Lions off a botched trick play for the Commanders. The Lions will be back to defend. 7:36 left in the first quarter. Will Jayden Daniels answer? Find out when we return. Detroit, Michigan, here at Ford Field. Right next is Comerica Park, the home of the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers were the darlings of the MLB this year, in which they made a surprise run, going all the way to the playoffs after having a 0.8% chance to make it in after the trade deadline. A nice opening drive gets stopped by the Commanders, and the Lions answer with a very efficient outing. No return here for Washington, but it's been an impressive turnaround by the Commanders. Last year, they were 4-13 with a negative 189 point differential and a minus 14 turnover differential, both of them the worst in the NFL. Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, Jayden Daniels, Bobby Wagner, and Dante Fowler Jr. being the biggest key additions for the Commanders. Their 12 wins are their most since 1991, in which they won their latest Super Bowl with Mark Rippon as their quarterback. Joe Gibbs won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks: Joe Theismann, Doug Williams, and Mark Rippon. Both of the NFL and NASCAR Hall of Fame, Joe Gibbs. Daniels on the read option towards the left side. He faked the handoff to Robinson. Runs out of bounds, and still was a Lions defender approaching him. Both Chris Smith and Stanley Thomas Oliver are practice squad call-ups for the Lions. They are running out of healthy bodies. Amik Robertson on this defensive line is out for the sequence. Kendall Vildor is subbing in his place. Arnold, the rookie on his secondary. Brian Branch renamed to his first Pro Bowl. Lions send the blitz after Daniels. Daniels gets it to McLaurin, and Arnold got away with a horse collar tackle, I believe, with 6:51 to go in this first quarter. And Arnold, as he was bringing down Terry McLaurin at the 45-yard line, got away with a horse collar. That is 12 yards on this catch. Sets the Commanders up at the 45-yard line. JD is 6-7 for 65 yards. Heavy pistol set as it's a run towards the left side. And surrounded is Austin Eckler for a loss of 3. Alex Izzoloni blow it up and recognize it right on the spot. It'll go for a loss of 4 as Eckler was the running back position right behind Daniels. Brian Robinson as a shotgun running back. Going jumbo set on the inside. The left side of the offensive line is the biggest weakness, arguably, of this Washington offense. Eckler motions towards the right side, lined up as a receiver. Eckler towards the right side, trying to shake off a tackle and cannot. Brian Branch stayed with him. That's why you named him to the Pro Bowl. Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator, having himself a turnaround and a resurgence in his stock, working with Jayden Daniels. This team is so much fun to watch. This Lions team being the grinded out team that is also fun to watch. We have an enjoyable story and one of the best coaches in the game. Empty set for Daniels. 3 left and 2 right. Lions send 4. Daniels, well protected, finds an open man for a first down, 12 yards. Jamison Crowder broke free from everybody and got himself open. And going with the up-tempo offense, so smooth and so cold with it. McLaurin was also in the vicinity as a deeper option. Daniels went with a safer route. 2 catches for 25 yards already for Crowder in his second stint with Washington. Trips right, 1 left. Run to the left side for Robinson. Brian Robinson, first down run to the 28. 14 yards. That time around for BRJ. That is up a breakout year this season. Brian Robinson getting himself up front. When you can run downhill the way he does, good things happen. That time Robinson finding the open hole, cuts to the inside right after he found a hole between Brandon Coleman and Nick Allegretti at the left. 7-0 in Lions here as Daniels. Ball is knocked away. It was intended to be a screen pass for Terry McLaurin. And boy, that could have been a pick 6 potentially for Za'Darius Smith. A big man touchdown in that regard. Smith batted away like a volleyball player. And Detroit is doing a good job at shutting down the options in which they're there on the initial side. That time it was the left side. It was knocked away by Smith. This will be the 8th play of this drive. The Commanders have went 41 yards already. They need 29 more for the touchdown. 3 right and 2 left. Daniels looking for a deep shot towards the right side. Nothing there. It was over the head of both Olamide Zaccheaus and Brian Branch. It was at a 3rd down and 10. And Daniels being a stud in these situations, but so was Branch. They did a good job of shutting down the coverage. Had all eyes on the ball. Did not make any intent to give up a play. And Branch, that time, paid full attention to the details and the fundamentals. 3rd down and 10 at the Detroit 29. Shotgun set. This is field goal range if the Commanders don't get a 1st down. Motion man towards the right side. 3 right and 1 left. Lions blitz again. Daniels. In and out. Kendall Vildor on Diami Brown to break it up. It was man coverage, and Vildor, who almost gave that up, punched it free at the last moment out of Brown's hands. Make sure that no big play was given up. What a big play for Detroit. As Zane Gonzalez, who was free for free in the wild card round last week, will get this kick from 47 at the left hash. Snap, spot, kick on the way, and it is good. And the first points on the board for Washington. And somewhere watching this game is Dale Earnhardt Jr., longtime Commanders fan and a former NASCAR driver in the Cup Series. Back in a moment from Detroit. Lions have great coaching with Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. They've been in the hot talks about head coaching conversations in the vacancies. The Saints being linked heavily to Aaron Glenn. Ben Johnson being a hot commodity among the head coaching candidates. One of those being the Chicago Bears and their long and extensive list of head coaching candidates. 7-3 Detroit, 3:50 to play in the first quarter with Gonzalez getting set to kick off. On its way, will this be returnable for the Lions? It will be a short kickoff return from the 8-yard line. Cutting inside. Washington special teams holds at the 26, no further. And for those wondering about that latest ad, Tom Brady being featured in the IndyCar series, He's at starring Joseph Newgarden. Fox Sports will have IndyCar broadcasts at some point this year, which is good news for getting IndyCar onto them. I mean, Tom Brady's just 2 years removed from last playing in the NFL, and now he's not only the lead color commentator on the NFL on Fox, but also minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Jared Goff thought about tossing it to Gibbs. Now he holds on to it, does the safe option, and goes to Sam Laporta on a check down. Tries to truck Jeremy Chinn, and that didn't full out Chinn. Gets dragged down the 43-yard line. That's 17 yards for Laporta. Sophomore tight end was the best tight end eventually of last year's draft class, in which it was initially thought to be Michael Mayer being the highlight of that tight end class. Dalton Kincaid was the first one taken from that tight end class. Brock Rice, the fullback here, as a give to Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs cuts a hole right by Jeremy Chinn. It's out to the races. Only Sayers still to beat. Sayers still forces him out. He is Sonic. And he takes off for 33 yards on a magnificent run set up at the left side by Graham Glasgow and Frank Ragnow. He blows by Jeremy Chinn before the last stand by Michigan standout Mike Sanders still, who is now playing against a team from Michigan. The Lions 6 yards away from the red zone. 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line. Motion man right side is Gibbs. Goff, deep drop back. Gets it off on time. Inside is Laporta. He gets twisted and turned at the 20 by Luvu, who has been an efficient blitzer this year. Just before he ran out of time when Jershon Newton was closing in on him on a side-on spiral. He ducks the shoulder and does a little Tim Hill style. Those who don't get it, Tim Hill being a high-end reliever for the New York Yankees during their World Series run last year. 2nd and 4, Lions at the red zone. Second catch for Laporta. This one had 6 yards to it. The first one at 14. The motion man right was Amon-Ra St. Brown. Here's Knuckles his turn for the ball. Gets 2 yards here. So it was on the way. It'll be 3rd and 2. Maybe 3 yards here. Remember that tomorrow will be the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens at 6:30 Eastern. A clash of titans in what is supposed to be a snowy game. 3rd and 1 2/3. 62 rushing yards for the Lions as opposed to the Commanders' 14. The ground game could be a major difference in this game, knowing the vast difference between these two ground attacks. It's an empty set for Jared Goff with Montgomery all the way to the left. Goff loses the ball, and Washington has it. Luvu fell onto the ball. Doris Armstrong forced it free from Goff's arm, and Luvu recovers. Gets by through the double team of Taylor Decker and Graham Glasgow, and as Goff was about to throw it, Armstrong, one of the big additions from the offseason, gets free and gets the fumble. 55 seconds to go. We'll be back. Daniels trying to target his receivers downfield, including Amon-Ra St. Brown. He tried to do a double move, slipped up. And Armstrong, who was double teamed, got by through the narrowest of gaps. And Armstrong poked it free. Louisville was the first one to recover. 7-3 Lions, but Washington has the ball at their own 22 off the recovery. Shotgun set. Daniels 8-12. Hand off for Robinson, who's breaking free. Robinson at his second level. A first down run. Right by the 35-yard line. Past it, 37 it is. 15 yards on this first carry, and Washington will go up-tempo again. This is what they love to do. Brian Robinson Jr. Double stack formation. A stack left and a stack right. 5 guys at the line of scrimmage among the offensive line for the Commanders. Brian Branch being an extra defender to try to stop the run. Here's Robinson towards the right side. Robinson forced out. Shotgun handoff towards the right side. Anzalone was in pursuit the entire time. To pick up a 5 yards. And Washington's offense will take this to the second quarter, trailing by 4. But being in this spot is comfortable for Washington, knowing that they can spot Detroit from anywhere deep. No moment's too big for them. Back in a moment for the second. Defense have had so many injuries throughout the year. 18 placed on the IR. 30 different starters on defense this season. Both of them the most in the NFL. Yet they rank 7th in opposing points per game and are still one of the top defensive units in the NFL. Thanks to that man, Aaron Glenn. 2nd and 5. With Zach Ertz and John Bates coming back to the line of scrimmage. 5 defenders on the line of scrimmage for the Lions. Looks like they'll be rushing 4, and they will. Daniels, well protected here. Now throwing towards the left side. Wide open! Diami Brown! On the chase down as Brian Branch. Stop him at the 15. Big plays. This is why this Washington team is so amazing to watch, and a spectacle to deliver. A huge play to begin the second quarter. And they're right in the red zone. It's Daniels. Didn't get much on that first down run. 4 yards. They started for the 16 on that second play from scrimmage. that would go is there's good protection on both sides and a good job by both sides of the tackles. 7-on-7 throughout, it appears. 2nd and 7. This was 3 yards on the previous play. 7.8 yards per play for the Commanders on the last time. 8.5 yards per play for the Lions. Single back set on a bunch up set. Play fake for Robinson. Daniels. Does he go to McLaurin? No, he's going to take off. He is forced out by Kirby Joseph. And seeing the situation, it'll be 3rd down. And at least multiple plays around in which Daniels has been a dazzling talent. The potential for fireworks is here. 3 rushes, 11 yards for Big JD. And 3rd down signs all over the field from these Lions fans. One of the loudest crowds in the NFL. 63% conversion rate on red zone offense. Daniels on an empty set. Throwing towards the right side, incomplete. He was going towards Zacchaeus, but it was well covered up by Kirby Joseph. And Aaron Gwynn's defensive unit holds. Now Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn with an interesting call to make. 20 of 23 in the regular season on 4th down this year. Best in the NFL. Last week they were 3 of 6. And they're not afraid to risk going for it on 4th down. And they're rolling the marbles here. Will this pay off is the question. They need 3 yards to convert. 9 yards for a touchdown. Motioning left is Eckler. All the way to the left. And finally they get the play off. Towards the middle, it's caught! Trying to break free. No touchdown, but it's 7 yards. For Washington, Zach Ertz. A little bruised up after that contact. He may have to sub out. That's the guy who they're going to. That big play for Diami Brown went for 42 yards, which set up this situation. As Ertz, he made Trevor Nowaske miss. But the rest of the defense wasn't fooled out. Ertz was a 3-time Pro Bowl selection. That's the 2nd catch. He's a reliable target for Daniels in the red zone especially. Chance to take the lead here for Washington. They are perfect against the Lions in the playoffs. Left side, underthrown. That was John Bates who was the target. It was underthrown. It hit the dirt harmlessly. Aaron Gwynn's defensive unit is bending. Is it going to break? Ertz comes back in. 10 of 16 for 132 yards is Daniels. Allegretti wearing number 67. Trent Scott wearing the 73. He's on the bench. Would normally be the extra offensive lineman he were trusted. But he's not reporting eligible right now. 2nd and goal. 2 yards out. 2 receivers left. Read option play as Daniels gets some blocks, but Kirby Joseph. Oh my goodness! Daniels was. Oh my word. I don't mean to say it, but he was iced out of bounds. It was nothing in terms of running room, and Joseph was bringing him out of bounds, and that forced Daniels to collide with the chain gang of marking the down count. Oh, that was a lot of contact. 3rd and goal, with the Lions having the 7th best red zone defense in the NFL, stopping along just 51% of conversion rates in the red zone. Play fake inside for Daniels. Going to air it out to the right side. There was contact and flags fly in. McLaurin was the intended man, but Kirby Joseph bumped him. And that's going to be a 1st down for Washington for defensive pass interference. Well, look close, but there was the vision from behind. Was McLaurin interfered with on the hold? He was held. There was a hold from him, and that may have impeded progress. It feels like McLaurin did a sell job the end after he was held. And that's a new set of downs. 59 penalties on defense for the Lions. 2nd most in the NFL. Washington's trying to take advantage of the matter of fact. 1st and goal from the 1. Detroit trying to hold still. Pistol set. Inside for Robinson. And the Lions continue to hold. Munching up Brian Robinson Jr. Loss of 1 for this injury-riddled defense. And DJ Reader, who was their big acquisition on defense this offseason, was the one who got to him first. Alex Anzalone also there. 63 tackles for Anzalone, who wore the green dot for the first part this season. Now that role goes to Jack Campbell. And now, it is second and goal. Washington trying to pounce in. 4 minutes gone in this second quarter as Robinson switches from the left to the right and the shotgun. Robinson for the middle. Touchdown! Brian Robinson Jr. Whistles blowing several times after the matter of fact, but it was 2 yards out. And the Commanders had the Lions defense bending, and here they broke. The floodgates opening on this run from 2 yards out, set up by that deep pass. Jayden Daniels to Diami Brown, 42 yards on that catch. And Sam Cosmi was injured at the end of the play. So they're taking a look at Cosmi in the meantime. He is down and in pain. We're stepping away for the moment. Cosmi is limping off to his sideline. He got hurt when he got hit from behind by Za'Darius Smith. The touchdown was good, but it came at a price. Their right guard, one of their best offensive linemen. For standards, he had a down year, but nonetheless, he's been one of their best guards. He's been a good guard for them throughout this season. Gonzalez is going to kick the extra point. It'll be from the left hash for him. Snap, spot, kick, good. Washington up 10-7. 4:55 into the second quarter. Staying with you here as we're monitoring progress around through the NHL and the NBA. In the meantime, so as we go over the recap of what happened over at Chiefs versus Texans throughout that game. And in the win, Patrick Mahomes, 16 of 25, 177 yards, 7.1 passing yards per game. Kareem Hunt, 8 catches, 44 yards. Travis Kelce with 7 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown. So Nico Remigio had a fumble, but Samaje Perine recovered it for him. And for the Texans, C.J. Stroud, 19-28, 245 yards. No passing touchdowns. Joe Mixon, 18 carries, 88 yards, a touchdown. Nico Collins with 5 catches, 81 yards. Dalton Schultz with 4 catches, 63 yards. Xavier Hutchinson, 4 catches, 52 yards. Stroud had a fumble, in which it was recovered by Shaq Mason on a sack, as the Lions are waiting back deep for the kickoff. It is 10-7 as is. Leading tackler Henry Toto. Will Anderson Jr. with 2 sacks, free TFL. As this kick will be returned from the 1-yard line at the left side. Several Washington players trying to close on Craig Reynolds. They do at the 30-yard line, where it would have been if it went for a touchback. But that's where the Lions will begin their drive. For the Chiefs, on defense, George Karlaftis finished the game with 3 sacks and 3 tackles for loss. It's a monster day for him on defense. Tershawn Wharton with 2 QB hits. Trent McDuffie with 3 passes broken up. Karlaftis with 4 QB hits as well. This defense being absolutely clutch in the playoffs. Goff unloads a deep shot all the way down the field, out of reach of Jameson Williams. Might have been in line for a one-handed grab, but Williams is upset with himself knowing that he had that one. Made a double move as Mike Sanders still, down deep. It was a long shot, and once Williams looked at the ball, already too late for him to get that, and he is upset knowing that he didn't pull this in. Potential touchdown opportunity for him on a moonshot by Goff. 2nd and 10. Motioning right is Brock Wright. Goff, middle side. Make that 8 yards for Amon-Ra St. Brown as he was wrapped up by Michael Walker and Frankie Louvu. That's one of the more dangerous areas to go through. Second quarter point differential, plus 128 the regular season. The best all-time in second quarter. But tonight, it is -7. Not where they want to go. 3rd and 3, as St. Brown got 7 yards. One of Washington's defenders subs out the last moment as David Montgomery motions towards the right side. Bobby Wagner trying to instruct his defense, having some of the defensive adjustments as they change up the coverage. Commanders sent 4. Goff, looking towards the right side, caught! Amon-Ra St. Brown, a flag is down as the ball is hauled in at the 30-yard line. Is this going to come back? Is the question. Going to be close. Ron Torbert signals holding on Igbenogany of the defense, and Detroit smartly declines as the sun god blows right by Igbenogany, who was trying to slow him down, looking to make the catch. And St. Brown hauled this one in all the way through. There was the tug right before the catch, and St. Brown takes them to the Commanders' 29. Motioning right is Brock Wright. 103 passing yards on the night for Goff already. Single back is Gibbs. For the left side, now the middle, Jahmyr Gibbs with the first down as several guys crowd in on a pile, 12 yards for Sonic the Hedgehog before being stopped by Quan Martin and Jonathan Allen. Daniels with that beanie hat on the sideline. As Jahmyr Gibbs, huge part of this offense, gets the Lions to within 1 yard of the Commanders in total yards. Detroit has 74 of them on the ground, 98 on the air. 132 yards of the 132 of the 173 yards where the Commanders have been through the air. Gibbs does not have a hole. Driven backwards as, there was a late push on Graham Glasgow in the end from Frankie Louvu. Gibbs got back to the line of scrimmage, nothing more. It'll be 2nd and 10 on that toss play left. Heave for the right side for the Sun God. That set up the Lions in this position at the 17-yard line. Laporta lined up as a wide receiver all the way to the right. Washington's averaging 3.4 yards per rush. Detroit 7.4. Khalif Raymond all the way to the right. Screen pass towards the right side. Raymond with an entourage. Stops short of the end zone. At the 2-yard line, Jeremy Chin with a touchdown-saving tackle. But it's first and goal, and the Lions are in prime field position thanks to that screen pass and excellent blocking on the right side from Tim Patrick and Sam Laporta. St. Brown over the middle. That is a good piece to go through. Once again, Dan Skipper reporting as eligible. They have 6 offensive linemen on this play with Skipper at the left side. Laporta motions left. It's a play fake. Goff looking, running out of time in a straitjacket. Oh my goodness! Sam Laporta, are you serious? A one-handed catch at the back of the end zone, and Detroit's back in front. Normally, any other quarterback would have thrown this one away, but Goff, as he was wrapped up, gets it off to Laporta on a one-handed grab as he was going Air Jordan. Ho, 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 ho. A one-handed grab and a beauty. Here comes the extra point from Jake Bates at the left hash to make it a 4-point game. On the way. And it's good. You will be seeing that one all over the night, no matter which outcome this is. This is the NFL Playoffs, Lions 14, Commanders 10, 7:44, second quarter. Dan Skipper was lost on the play action as he was running across the field, looking to be a recipient of the touchdown, but Laporta with a sensational one-handed grab at the back of the end zone. How in the world did he pull this one in? Are you serious? As he was jumping across his body for that. Bates kicks it off. And this is going towards the end zone. No return for the Commanders. And Washington will start from their own 30-yard line. The 67th Daytona 500 will be on the week after Super Bowl 59 at Daytona International Speedway. The Super Bowl at Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. Their first Super Bowl in 12 years at this venue, in the Blackout Bowl, and one of the Harbaugh Bowls, when the Baltimore Ravens defeat the San Francisco 49ers 34-31. The 49ers trying to come back from down by 22 points. For at that time, the largest comeback in Super Bowl history. They fell short by 3 points in the end. Pistol set for Washington. Double stack left and right. Now it's a shift to the shotgun set for Washington. Run towards the right side for Robinson, trying to find the open hole. No, that's Daniels, and he gets brought down through the legs, swept away by Branch. There was no twig in the area. It was a branch. 3 yards on the right side as Jonah Williams, the defensive end, not the offensive tackle, is out there. The other Jonah Williams is the right tackle for the Arizona Cardinals, being part of Kyler Murray's offensive line. 2nd and 7 after that 3-yard run by Daniels. Look for that one-on-one matchup at the right side with Terrion Arnold in coverage. Daniels with pressure from the middle. On the right side, there's the one-on-one matchup. Dyami Brown gets the first down, 8 yards. He gets the upper hand on Arnold. Arnold being one of the leaders in penalties against him. Aaron Gwynn's defensive unit. It's a very physical defensive unit for the Lions. This Lions defense, how much longer can they go with the injury front? 9 yards per play for the Lions. Daniels sets up the screen at the left side for McLaurin. He breaks through the grab. It's a foot race between him and Joseph. Slowed down once. Kiss him goodbye. An RPO to the left, and Scary Terry spooked this Lions defense. On the screenplay left, set up by Olamide Zaccheaus with Dyami Brown blocking up Ifeatu Melifonwu. It's a foot race from there between him and Kirby Joseph. Joseph couldn't bring him down. And McLaurin got through with such speed. No punch out there. And it's off to the races. Speed all the way down. Left hash extra point for Zane Gonzalez on the way. Right there. It's a field goal lead for the Commanders. And they're showing out at their fullest. It's a work of beauty for Scary Terry. 6:23 to go in the second quarter. We will be back. NFC Divisional Round, so far it's not been a defensive game, it's more of an offensive shootout. The 3 league changes, 432 total yards, 1 punt and 1 fumble between both combined teams. So close for comfort. And Detroit is at the trailing end with 6:23 to go in the second quarter. Zane Gonzalez kicks off. This one's to the right. Will this be a return kick? Yes, it will be. Shifting towards the right side and stopped at the 22. Craig Reynolds shut down. Special teams have been a huge benefactor. Mike Saterstill that time shutting down that return. There's a trips formation towards the left side, and it was a screenplay as Terry McLaurin blew by 2 defenders, Ifeatu Melifonwu and Kindle Vildor. Yeah, it's a foot race from there on out. 7.8 yards per play for Washington, 9 exact. Early movement. Flags come in as that snap looked to be a bad snap for Frank Ragnow, and Penny Sewell is pointing towards Washington. But this is going to be a false start against Sam Laporta. If you play a team that is playing a wild card game, you will expect that they're coming in with energy. The rest versus rust factor is going to factor in this game if you're the team that has a bye week. And that may be what is happening right now. 1st and 15. Stack set to the right side. Gibbs at the right. Coming in from behind is Dante Fowler Jr. to bring down Gibbs. 1 yard for Fowler at the right side. If you like hockey, you should also follow my good friend John Ott. He is currently on the call for Michigan against Michigan State. In hockey, Michigan just defeated Michigan State yesterday 3-2 in overtime. We'll see how these two square off in the rematch tonight. 71 yards rushing for Jahmyr Gibbs. Empty set for Detroit. 3 left and 2 right. Goff on 2nd down 14 towards the left side. Way too high. It's intercepted. Quan Martin returning all the way back to 20. 15-10 on the right side. Pick 6. Way too high for the Sun God. And Quan Martin makes the Lions pay. Laporta is wide open at the left side. Goff overthrew him. That was actually Tim Patrick, actually. When throwing high, usually it does not bode well when there is a defender back. And Martin puts the Lions potentially in a 10-point hole pending the extra point from Gonzalez. There's the extra point on the way. It is good. What are we seeing here in Detroit? The Commanders up 24-14. And things are getting very interesting here at Motown. A statement here in this first half by the Commanders. We'll be right back. Jared Goff got popped during the interception return. Got walloped by Frankie Louvu, and Goff is likely going to get evaluated. That's a legal hit, and so Hendon Hooker is going to come in for this next sequence. So that Goff is being monitored. Left side is return. Oh, Washington is playing it full scale right now with their hearts out. Goff got popped by Louvu at the end, got elevated. Ouch. And then hit face down, then hit head first at that right behind. The head was going backwards. Oof. He's being evaluated for a concussion. And now, we don't know what is going to happen right now. It's not Hendon Hooker. It's Teddy Bridgewater in the game for Detroit. The emergency third quarterback for the Lions. And flags come in immediately on the snap. False start. Would you look at this? Teddy Bridgewater in the game for the Lions. Right off of leading his high school to a state championship. Goff is now in the blue medical tent. Bridgewater getting his first course of action. 11th year in the NFL. Drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. Being a journeyman quarterback. Panthers, Broncos, and then the Lions. Right before that was the Saints. Bridgewater heads out for Gibbs as he goes up the middle. Gibbs will not be denied. 14 yards on the run up the middle. The Super Bowl 59 halftime show headlined by Kendrick Lamar. Over in New Orleans, this is hurry-up offense for the Lions. Gibbs was stopped at half a yard short. Bridgewater delivers to Gibbs. Immediately hit after the catch by Louvu. And remember, Bridgewater was a Pro Bowler previously in his career. Now Goff is out of the blue medical tent. Bridgewater will run this next play. 12 first downs each. Jameson Williams motions towards the right side. Weak side eye set for the Lions. Here is Gibbs, who will flip it to Williams at the left side. Good blocking on the way. Williams has an entourage. Two guys to beat. Cuts to the inside. Jahmyr Gibbs as a blocker. He'll go the other way. Yes, sir. Jameson Williams keeps the Lions alive. 4:01 to play, and Jamel 61 yards on a track meet. Williams getting a toss play from Gibbs on the right side. And all of the blockers right in front, he has the entourage run blocking him. This game is being broken open. Bates has drilled the extra point. His game is crazy. 24-21 Washington. We're staying with you. 4:01 to go on the quarter. But what in the world are we seeing here right now? A long touchdown run from Terry McLaurin that was followed up by pick six, and then Williams' fifth touchdown of at least 50 yards on throughout the campaign. 24-21, Washington and the Lions have brought to within a field goal in this high offensive shootout on this trick play once Jared Goff has been cleared from concussion protocol. What a moment that we saw right off that trick play. No return here for Washington. We'll see if the Lions can get a defensive stop. But Teddy Bridgewater and his coaching expertise, I don't know if that's going to help out, but I don't mean to say that in a joking sort of way, but Jameson Williams with speed. We know that Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are Sonic and Knuckles. All in favor of Jameson Williams being tail, say I. This crowd is re-energized. Eckler at the shotgun towards the left. Trips play left. Hand off of the shotgun for Eckler. Gets it at second level. 8 or 9 yards. It all depends on the spot. Zach Ertz is back into the game. They'll say 8 yards on this first run. Of course, Washington is going up-tempo. They have shifted the offensive unit. Trent Scott is now the right tackle. Or the right guard. Daniels read option towards the right side. Over the past midfield. And is out at the Detroit 47. Trent Scott is the new right guard in this game for the Commanders, replacing the injured Sam Cosmi. Goff took a big hit, throwing the interception, had to head thrust backwards. But no moment is too big for Daniels, and he is showing that. And see how the Lions defense holds firm, or the Commanders strike right back on offense. Trips left, and in motion is John Bates. Up the middle, Eckler. Jack Campbell and Levi Onwuzurike were both there to stop him from getting any further. 2 yards that time around. And we shouldn't be surprised at how this offensive shootout is going. Lions 52% of drives resulting in points. The Commanders at 50%. The Bills also at the same category, 50%. 150 to 69, the rushing yards advantage for the Lions. But passing yards have been the advantage for Washington. 2nd and 8. Play fake for Eckler. Daniels. There's a hold. Daniels going deep for Diami. Caught! Inside the 10! Washington is a machine right now. 38 big ones for Diami Flash Brown. A perfect strike for Jayden Daniels. And it was a beauty. Right down the right side as Kirby Joseph was caught on an island right behind. What are we witnessing? We're at the 2-minute warning in this offensive shootout. Back in a moment. Jayden Daniels sees the coverage. The Lions utilizing a single high safety on that last play. And surveys his options, goes towards the right side in space, and finds the open Dyami Brown coming up a monster game. The game of his life in the wild card round against the Buccaneers. And now he's up to 96 receiving yards, more than what his total was in the wild card round. Both teams have free timeouts. Washington's trying to find the end zone. First and goal from the 7. 2 left and 2 right on the shotgun set with 2 tight ends. This is Daniels for the middle. Gets only 2 yards out of this as he was shoestringed by Jack Campbell up the middle. And immediately a timeout by Detroit. Second and goal as Cliff Kingsbury and company want to talk it over. Perhaps a defensive adjustment may also is what is needed. Do remember, Washington will have the ball to begin the second half. 13-19 for 237 yards and 1 touchdown. The breakthrough game being against Cincinnati, in which the Commanders won 38-33. Dan Campbell wants his defense to get a turnaround. Ball is at the 5 2/3 yard line. Double stack set left before Zachers motions to the inside. Daniels, one of the Lions, goes up and over, heaving its way up front, and it is thrown away. Nearest guy in reach, I believe, was one of the Commanders. Terry McLaurin, not in the away there. So it was over Terrion Arnold. Third down here. Big position for the Lions as they need to get a third down stop. The amount of injuries they sustained on defense. 18, and that is. You cannot afford to lose any more bodies. They lost Amik Robertson earlier. Daniels will look towards this middle. Touchdown! Zach Ertz! A long-time Eagle finds pay dirt here in Motown. 5 yards out, no moment is too big for Daniels, and Ertz with the second touchdown reception of any Commander on the night, joining Terry McLaurin, who had a screen pass taken all the way for 6. And that is good for Washington. Looking to get out in front. Extra point is good. And the Commanders up 31-21. Who could have seen this coming? The Commanders leading by 10. 1:46 to play in the half. We might legitimately have a shootout in the horizon here in Motown. Could be on the lines of one of the greatest playoff games potentially ever played. No matter who wins this, it'll be a masterful offensive shootout between two downtrodden franchises. The Lions being the bridesmaid of bridesmaids, and the Commanders not seeing a Super Bowl since the 1991 season. The second to last year at the first tenure of Joe Gibbs. And Dan Quinn leading them to this spot. Joe Gibbs would certainly be proud of what he is seeing among this turnaround. In a city that faces political turmoil nearly every day, the one rallying cry is the campaign slogan that unites all of Washington, D.C. Raise Hail. And Washington is raising hail tonight. Jared Goff and company wanting to respond right back. Remember, the Commanders have the ball to begin the second half. Washington aided by a pick six of Quan Martin on an overthrow by Jared Goff towards Tim Patrick. Goff is back in the game. How effective will he be on his first drive back? Goff, on the first play back from scrimmage towards the middle, finds a man. Past the 40-yard line is St. Brown. Lions trying to hurry as the official is spying the ball. 11 yards as the clock is ticking. The Lions do have 2 timeouts Goff is up to 131 yards passing. 128, 127. Shotgun set with three guys right. Goff on the drop back towards the right side. Cut low. And that will keep the clock rolling. Laporta gets some more yardage. That is 7 yards there for Sam Laporta. Second and 3. 113, 112, 111. 2 left and 2 right. Commanders sitting 4. Goff almost hurried up as one of the guys spins out. And that is, Jahmyr Gibbs somehow found it. 11 yards on the catch as it was low and a timeout was called by Detroit. What a catch there by Jahmyr Gibbs as he held onto it the entire way, going low. From one of the other angles is better. Well, this is going to be close. Did that ball hit the ground? I believe it might have hit the ground. That ball may be out, and it looks like this may be reversed. So, but if this is incomplete, it may look like, but it appears that it is incomplete from a different angle. Though parallax angle may be taken into consideration. It is a booth review. The Lions have used their timeout. We may be having ourselves one of the best playoff games in recent memory. 42 points scored in the second quarter, the most in any quarter all time in any playoff game. This game went from low scoring to absolutely chaotic. Ron Torber's reviewing this in the meantime. Now the Lions have called their timeout. Do they still decide to use their timeout despite that incompletion? And I believe it's going to come right back. Jared Goff is backing up. We don't have an announcement, but the wording maybe is that this is going to come back from what it's looking to be like. No, and knowing that it's an incompletion, the Lions have decided to hang on to their second timeout. And the clock is reset to 1:04, and because the clock is stopped, the 10-second runoff rule does not apply here. 3rd and 3, with Washington leading 31-21. The setup here is Jameson Williams far to the right, Sam Laporta the tight end, 2 receivers towards that left side. Shotgun set, Jahmyr Gibbs to the right of Goff. It is a run for Gibbs. Up for the middle, half the first down, still going. Down at the 41-yard line. Now does Detroit still use that timeout? They will not here. They will get set here on 1st down and 10. Shotgun set. They're getting into field goal range. They're in Jake Bates' range. A field goal from your feet, 59 yards. Goff tipped at the line and incomplete. Jahmyr Gibbs was the closest man to it, but Washington recognized it and tipped the ball at the line. The high-powered Lions offense has been keeping up pace with the Commanders offense, which has shown that they can shine in the brightest lights. 9.5 yards per play for Detroit, 8.2 for Washington. It is Washington leading at the score sheet, thanks to the dynamic passing attack of Jayden Daniels. Goff on 2nd down, pump fakes once, now delivers to Gibbs, inside the 30, finally brought down at the 29, maybe the 28, and the Lions will use their second timeout at long last with 35 seconds to go. 12 yards on that catch and run to the 29, as Chin was the one bringing him down, a former Carolina Panther. It is one play after another, which these two clubs are going back and forth. Jayden Daniels watching onwards with an eager look on his face. The halftime report is coming up next. And we're looking at what, and people are asking, what's going on between these two games? Potential offensive rookie of the year, Jayden Daniels. He is watching his defense. 35 seconds ago as Laporta motions left. And now it's Dan Quinn calling timeout. This will be their first, looking to get their defensive adjustments. The Lions are looking to counter. It looks like we may need another separate discussion about how we can get this going. The Lions have never been in this position again, being the top seed in the NFC. 15 wins on the year. Even when Washington scores and Detroit scoring, we may be looking in line at an offensive shootout. And the Commanders being cardiac this year as one of the surprising teams. Goff stepping up in the pocket, firing towards the end zone, intercepted! Mike Sainristil, the rookie from Michigan, returning this to the 10 and still not down, and finally is at the 15. Goff's second interception of the game is one to Sainristil as he was looking for Jamison Williams. Sainristil jumps the route. Body was open, but Sainristil closes it off. You gotta bring the defensive awareness into play as Sainristil knew this was a post route. Up front, recognizing this. The rookie from Michigan, realizing that this was a play intended for Jamo at the end zone. And Jayden Daniels will use the final 22 seconds to kneel it out. There's that. And Washington will receive the second half kickoff. Halftime report coming up next. Mike Sainristil and Quan Martin with the 2 interceptions of Jared Goff in the first half. How shocking is this? Commanders up 31-21 at halftime. The halftime report is coming up. Alec Nalba here with you. We'll return in a moment. This is the halftime report. The Cardiac Commanders are back at it. They lead the Lions 31-21 in a highly exciting offensive shootout. Jayden Daniels, 14-21 for 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 137.4 passer rating so far. I am Alec Nava to take you on to the highlight to go for the scoring rundown. In the first quarter, Jahmyr Gibbs with 1 yard out. Zane Gonzalez hits a 47-yard field goal. The first quarter ends 7-3, Detroit leading. Then the floodgates open in the second quarter. Ryan Robinson Jr. from 2 yards out. As the Commanders go on to score 4 touchdowns in the game. It's 4 touchdowns in the second quarter to go up 31-21. The first from Brian Robinson Jr. That was answered back by Sam Laporta, 2 yards out from Jared Goff. Terry McLaurin, 58 yards out on a screen pass left side for Jayden Daniels. Then Quan Martin on a pick 6 from Jared Goff, who had to leave the game for the moment because he took a heavy hit from Frankie Louvu. Teddy Bridgewater checked in. Jameson Williams took an end around 61 yards through the left side and then finished on the right. Zach Ertz, 5 yards out to get Washington back up by 10. And they lead at that point, 31-21, entering into halftime. So as I mentioned, Jayden Daniels has had himself a stellar night last week, and we're seeing this again this week. Diami Brown, 4 catches, 96 yards. Terry McLaurin, 3 catches, 75 yards. For Detroit, Jared Goff is 11-17 for 150 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. One of them returned for a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs with 9 carries, 96 yards, and a touchdown. David Montgomery, just 4 carries for 4 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 3 carries and 3 catches, 52 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, 3 catches, 38 yards. Laporta, 4 catches, 29 yards. Goff also was strip sacked and lost that fumble. Strip sacked by Dorrance Armstrong with the fumble recovered by Frankie Louvu. That's another point of emphasis there as we are going to the defensive lineups. Mike Sanders still with a pass defense. Armstrong had a sack. The strip sack was the only one at the game for Washington. Detroit does not have a sack. They have 4 tackles for loss, 2 for Alex Anzalone. Pass breakups from Kendall Vildor and Za'Darius Smith. As we go over to the live look-ins around the NHL and NBA, we have several final scores from the NHL and NBA. 3 of them from the NBA. The Atlanta Hawks survive in an overtime thriller. 119-115. 28 from Trae Young with 12 assists. 23 from Dyson Daniels, the defensive ace. Onyeka Okongwu, 19 points, 13 rebounds. DeAndre Hunter with 16 off the bench with 6 rebounds. Jalen Johnson with 14 points, 13 rebounds. A steal and a block. In the loss, it's Jaylen Brown, 24 of 11 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals. Jason Tatum, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. Derek White, 21 points, 8 rebounds. Peyton Pritchard with 20 points, 6 rebounds, 4 of 8 from 3. Luke Cornett with 17 points. They were missing Al Horford in this game. Al Horford sat out this game. And because of the coach's decision. No Kristaps Porzingis. The Suns defeat the Detroit Pistons. A gritty unit. 21-20 Phoenix Suns now. 125-121 the final score at Detroit. Kevin Durant, 36 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals, and 35 for Devin Booker with 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Nick Richards, in his first few games with Phoenix, finding himself a home here. 21 points, 11 rebounds off the bench, and a plus 22. Ryan Dunn with 12 points and 8 rebounds in the starting 5. In the loss, 21 for Tobias Harris, 5 rebounds. Kay Cunningham with 20 points, 11 assists, and 6 rebounds. 14 for Malik Beasley, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. 12 for Tim Hardaway Jr. in the loss. The Pacers down to 76ers, 115-112. As in the win, 21 for Pascal Siakam, with 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Miles Turner, 18 points, 11 rebounds. And a solid effort off the bench of Aaron Nesmith, Thomas Bryant, Ben Shepherd, each with 12 points off the bench. T.J. McConnell with 10 points off the bench with 2 steals. 28 from Tyrese Maxey in the loss. 18 each for Kelly Oubre, A Jr., and Ricky Council the fourth. And what's been the biggest disappointment of the season, easily. Still for the NHL, the Philadelphia Flyers have been reeling as of late. Down the Devils 3-1. Matvei Michkov and Bobby Brink for the Flyers. Or free unanswered for them. Travis Konecny, the empty netter. Dougie Hamilton with the lone goal for the Devils. Sam Ersson didn't do too much. Stopped 12-13. Jake Allen, 15 of 17. It's been almost little to no opportunities in a stingy defensive game. The Senators down to a Bruins 6-5 in a shootout. With the Senators tying it up in the final 5 minutes. Nick Jensen and Josh Norris. 2 goals in 3 minutes and 1 second. Adam Gaudette, Tim Stutzla started the scoring. Josh Norris tied it at 3. Pavel Zacha, David Pastrnak, Morgan Geekie, Johnny Beecher, and Vinny Lettieri with the goals for Boston. So we'll get the rundown when we come right back from the break. Stutzla at the shootout winner. The second half is up next. When we come right back, I am Alec Nava. Stay tuned, everyone. Washington will have the ball to start. Washington looking to make this a free score game now and looking to extend this to a 38-21 lead now that they have the ball to start the third quarter. They are the Cardiac Commanders. No moment too big for these guys. and playing for a team in the midst of a city that is going to face political turmoil at a peak. But there is a rallying cry that is going to unite this city at every turn. Raise hail. Another one of those rallying cries being all caps for the Washington Commanders, as they are going to receive the ball to begin the second half. Jake Bates is ready to kick off a game in which nobody saw coming. The Commanders potentially on the brink of upsetting the Lions. The Lions have dealt with injuries all season long to their defense, and the up-tempo style of the offense for the Commanders is catching the Lions defense off guard. Something that can catch any team off guard. Any team that is going to work with Jayden Daniels is going to have it fun with them. And for sure, they're seeing this being extremely fun. Washington is having a very fun time onto the field. And Jayden Daniels high-fiving his guys. Whew, what a moment. Commanders love going up-tempo, but that second half cliff doesn't seem to faze them. It is the first postseason game of at least 600 total yards in the first half since Super Bowl 52, in which it totaled 673 total yards. Tom Brady knows that well, knowing that he was on the Patriots at the time it happened. There's no jab towards him, though. It's more the defense wasting a valiant effort from Brady and his 505 passing yards on that game. Kick is out from Bates. Here at Ford Field, the second half is underway. No return here for Washington. They're looking to open the floodgates here. So now, Jayden Daniels and company starting for their own 30-yard line. In the second half, in this third quarter, will this crowd get loud as the Lions are looking to defend their den? The over-under for the total point score in this game is 55.5 points. We may be looking at this game going towards the over sometime soon. Whether it be the next team scoring between the Commanders or Lions is yet to be determined. Za'Darius Smith lined up opposite Brandon Coleman. Amazing first half. Here's Brian Robinson breaking free. There is another first down. 14 yards before running into Kirby Joseph. And more of what we'll see in that first half. Smash mouth football. At that time. And now Washington running a variation of the West Coast offense. 312 total yards as opposed to 309 for Detroit. 161 to 70 the rushing yards advantage. Passing yards advantage to Washington 242 to 148. On first down is a read option. Daniels wrapped up by Branch, who read it the entire way. Loss of 2 that time around, and Branch made sure that Daniels would not get away. Cliff Kingsbury calling the shots on offense. The offensive coordinator. Joe Witt Jr., the defensive coordinator. In this defense, seeing a turnaround under Witt. Larry Izzo, the special teams coach, on the other end. Shotgun set for Washington. 14-21, 242 yards, and 2 touchdowns is Daniels so far. That was his first half stats. Motioning left is Ertz. Lions send pressure after Daniels. Gets away from one man, looking to get back to the line of scrimmage. He gets 1 yard out of this. His escapability is what makes him so special. As Josh Paschal was chasing him down. It's not a sack, but he gets limited to just 1 yard on that play. And because he was trapped, there was nowhere for him to run through. 31-21. As Cliff Kingsbury looking to get something out of this offense to begin the second half. This defense must have had a pep talk over the locker room. Daniels flagged down as his approach towards the middle. Incomplete. We'll have to see the flag. Terrion Arnold was in coverage on Diami Brown. The offense did not get set at the end of the shift, which caused the illegal shift penalty. Detroit will decline it. And so, this will lead to a punting situation for Tressway. And Aaron Gwenn's defense needed that one badly. Divisional round, the Lions looking to get back to the NFC Championship game, which they made it there last year. Tressway, the longtime punter for the Commanders, being the loneliest guy in the locker room right now. Left-footed boot. This will not be returned. This is a forward bounce. Oh, this is going to work towards the Lions' favor. Down by Colson Yankov, who was activated off the IR at the 9-yard line. Came back from a hamstring injury, and his first play back, the UCLA product downs the ball there. We'll be right back. That's a lot of yards for both sides. 325 in total for Washington, 309 for Detroit. Offense has been the name of this game, save for that pick six from Quan Martin, but defense has also been there. 2 interceptions off Jared Goff and a strip sack as well. Lawrence Armstrong, strip sacking Goff, resulting in the Frankie Luvu fumble recovery. Here's Montgomery, hasn't seen a lot of production here. He's coming off the MCL sprain. Gets right by, powering his way for the first down. There's the David Montgomery of old. 11 yards as he goes left side past Quan Martin. And Quan Martin, you're wondering if that hit will result in a penalty. 18 dropbacks. Goff has been sacked once on 9 pressures. The pressure hasn't been working there for Washington as yet. It's a play fake for Montgomery. Goff, sidearm, incomplete, intended for Laporta. As we look forward to the Super Bowl, we'll have to see who else will come out this road. Sam Laporta being the target of this pass. It's incomplete that time around. It does stop the clock with 12 to go in the third quarter. Laporta motions towards the left side. Off through the middle, it is Montgomery. Montgomery shifts directions towards the right side. Makes a man miss. Montgomery still going. 8 yards there. Angry runs for David Montgomery. That's been the theme for Knuckles. And so good at this regard. And he is finding his footing. 6 carry. And finally, he's back to the Montgomery of old. He's up to 23 yards on the night. We're being stopped by Igbenogany. Jahmyr Gibbs on the sideline to start off this second half. But a two-back game would be beneficial to the Lions. 6 rushes, 23 yards. Lions are 2 for 4 on third down. They average 5 yards to go. This is 2.5 yards to go. Run up the middle. Montgomery shakes off one guy. Flag is down. And that is a loss of 2.5 yards. We may see that this is going to be a face mask. It seems. And that face mask penalty is going to aid the Lions. Dante Fowler Jr. grabbed Montgomery's face mask when forcing the loss of yardage as Montgomery stiff-armed Frankie Luvu to the shadow realm. Did Fowler grab the face mask? He twisted his body around, but there's not a face mask there. That's not even a face mask. But that should not have been a penalty against Washington. I'm sorry. The face mask was not grabbed. And a bad call there by the officials. Ball is at the 42.5-yard line. Here's Sonic getting his first carry of the second half, trying to get his way through. Igbenogany forces him half a yard back. Loss of 1. It'll be 2nd and 11. Good run defense there for Washington. But the Sonic and Knuckles moniker. Gibbs is the first line to lead the NFL scrimmage touchdowns since 1991. Montgomery with 12-plus rushing touchdowns in consecutive seasons. The first line since Barry Sanders to do that. And Gibbs totaled 20 touchdowns on the season. Rushing and receiving. Here's the run to the right side for Gibbs. Gibbs is crowded at the line of scrimmage. Back-to-back runs in which there is nothing there. Frankie Luvu did not give up anything up front. And it's 3rd down and 10 as Gibbs got only 1 yard out of this. We'll see how the Lions can get an answer back. They are down by 10. In need of an offensive response. They got the defensive answer, starting from their own 9-yard line. Empty set for Goff. Motioning left is Laporta. Washington sends 4. Goff for the Sun God. First down and then past the 40-yard line where he is down at the 38, maybe the 37. 19 yards before being dropped by Marshawn Lattimore. Faking out Bobby Wagner and activating up for the rush. The middle of the field has been the bread and butter for Jared Goff and company, and once again it is the case. St. Brown tied up his shoes in the huddle. That's his 4th target, and he has hauled in every single one of these catches for 71 yards in total. Collie Freeman in the game, emotions left. This will be a play fake for Gibbs. Goff running out of time, in and out the hands of Gibbs. He had that one. The pressure was coming in on Goff at the last moment from Jonathan Allen. He wanted to go to a safety valve. Well, how cool is that with his own shirt? And a good-looking haircut for Amon-Ra St. Brown and dyeing his hair blue. Detroit is his home, and he is definitely finding a more than just a home here. Does have the German flag behind him. Shotgun set for Detroit. On 2nd down. Pressure onto Goff. Right side for Gibbs on the screen. Jahmyr Gibbs spins out a man and gets the first down as he spins out Javonte Jean-Baptiste. The shiftiness of Sonic as he changes directions right to left in a hurry. And a mastery of Ben Johnson. As this eliminates some of those defensive miscues. But that's one of them. As there was a spin from Jahmyr Gibbs. 96 rushing yards, 50 receiving yards so far on the night. Tim Patrick motions right onto the left side. Position at the slot. Here's Amon-Ra St. Brown in front on the double tip. St. Brown, 1st and goal. Down at the 8-yard line. How about this with David Montgomery setting up the tap pass for the Sun God? A work of art from Ben Johnson as this was initially a toss for Montgomery. Then it's a flip in front for St. Brown. That is legal. as it was a backwards handoff at first, then it's a forwards flip. But that's going to do wonders for Montgomery's completion rate. All the way to the right is Williams. Raymond motions towards the right side. 2 touchdowns to a fumble lost in the red zone offense for the Lions. Single back is Gibbs. They have to get it off, and they do. Jahmyr Gibbs towards the left side, and he's brought down in a hurry. Marshawn Lattimore and Frankie Luvu both there. It'll be 2nd and goal for the 9-yard line. They killed the play at first and brought another one. As it was a handoff towards the left side, but there was nothing there as Lattimore immediately shoestringed him. 8-yard line, it's just a loss of 1. They were at the 7. Once again, the single back is Gibbs. Motioning right is Jameson Williams. Hand off towards the right side for Gibbs. Up the middle. Touchdown! Jahmyr Gibbs. He's got a deuce tonight. When the season's on the line, you can always trust Sonic for a reliable touchdown at any time. As smooth as butter as he can go with it. And while there are no loop-de-loops here on Earth, there are straightaway paths to go fast. Left hash extra point for Jake Bates is on its way. And it's a 3-point game here in Detroit. This crowd is back alive. 31-28, Washington still leads. Detroit needs another defensive stop if they want to keep pace with this up-tempo Washington offense. 6:57 to go. We'll return. Lions took advantage of the face mask call that was not really a face mask, as David Montgomery was wrapped up on the shoulder pad. And they took full advantage, going down the distance 70 yards for the score as a 31-28 game. 6:57 to go here in the quarter. Jake Bates is going to kick off to the Commanders right now. Tressway punted for the first time in the last drive. We'll see if Detroit can force another punt or if they can hold Washington to just a field goal on this next play or this next drive. Against the blitz, Jayden Daniels is 8 of 11 for 166 yards, or 1 touchdown, has a passer rating of 145.1. Detroit may have to adjust and accordingly, in blitzing less if they want to adjust to Daniels and how he dissected this blitz. It's an otherwise ferocious Lions blitz. 6:57 to go in the third. John Bates motions right. Daniels being hurried up. One Lion is down. Daniels flushed out right side. Is forced out by Anzalone. Still trying to come back for Detroit. But good start there on this drive for Aaron Gwenn's defense. The play style of this Lions defense being up and around. This time they're adjusting to the Commanders' offense up-tempo and blitzing less this time on that last drive. 2nd and 9. Kirby Joseph instructing Jack Campbell as Joseph backs up to deep safety. Campbell's a free rusher. Daniels breaks away for the blitz. Daniels has a first down wrapped up from behind by Campbell. There's the dangers of blitzing a mobile quarterback. And Campbell was the one who brought him down. Ifeatu Melifonwu, however, was not as lucky. Brian Branch was unblocked, almost brought down Daniels. But in space, Daniels broke free. Melifonwu got up. And remember, this game started with Amik Robertson being injured. And Branch is also being looked at. And a lot of injuries for this Lions defense over the course of the season. This is a challenge here for the Lions defense now that they're going down 2 more defenders. They lost Robertson earlier this game. Brian Branch and Ifeatu Melifonwu, 2 safeties. They're both coming out. Now they're utilizing corners as safeties. Maurice Norris is in the game as a safety, the rookie out of Fresno State. The late round selection this past season. Lions defense trying to hype up the crowd here. Jalen Reeves-Maybin in the game as the second linebacker. Kirby Joseph utilized as the strong safety. Norris is back deep as the free safety. Motion man left is Diami Brown. Brian Robinson Jr. towards the right side. Gets extra yardage after contact. Flag is down. And I believe this may be coming back. In a game that's not featured a lot of penalties so far, as of note. That is something worth noting about. But this will be the 7th penalty of the game. Josh Paschal called for unnecessary roughness on Jayden Daniels. A shove towards the head, and that is the 4th penalty against the Lions in this game. That'll get the Commanders 15 more yards. Not what they needed to have if they were to get on top. And Dan Campbell wants to have his guys more disciplined, but you can't win a lot of games when committing a lot of undisciplined and unnecessary penalties. Daniels is 14 of 22 for 242 yards and 2 touchdowns. Branches wind up as one of the corners at the left side with Kendall Vildor. Trips left, 1 right, shotgun set. Run to the right side for Robinson. Robinson being forced around, out of bounds to the right side. This run goes for 7 yards for Robinson. Commanders going to have a run-heavy approach. And this drive is paying off as Paschal got an unnecessary shot up high. And there's a little cut onto the eye of Daniels. Not bothering him a lot. 4:45 to go here in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 3, they're at the 28-yard line. 2 guys left and 2 guys right. Shotgun set again. Robinson again up the middle. 1 yard shy at the first down as several Lions crowd in. He is a yard shy. Onwuzurike and Anzalone, both there. Third and 1 situation should be a gimme for the Commanders. 385 total yards for the Lions, 354 for the Commanders. It's been a good day for both offenses, pivotal day if you're a defense. This should be an easy first down for the Commanders, and it is. Got it. You punch it up the middle, and that is the result. And Robinson got the first down. Taking a lot of contact, he is going to sub out as Daniels throws away a towel. If you want a leader, your franchise leader is right there. If you're Washington, Jayden Daniels. It's been all runs in this drive. No passes so far. 3 receivers right and 1 left. With Jamison Crowder in the mix. Dyami Brown motions right. First passing play of the night. Of this drive for the Commanders. Ball is out. It's out of bounds at the right side. Dyami Brown caught it. It was out, but it went out of bounds at the 25-yard line. It is a 1-yard loss. Second and 11 right after that fumble that went out of bounds off Brown. No gain that time around, but it is a loss of 1. Shotgun set for Washington. It's Brian Branch back into the... So Brian Branch is there. He is back into the game. Daniels swings it out right onto the run for Eckler. Makes a man miss. Reinforcements come in to bring him down. He gets 6 yards out of this. And it's third down for Washington. Jack Campbell with the tackle. 2:31 to go here in the third quarter. Detroit's trying to hold Washington to a field goal or even get a 4th down stop because Dan Quinn's not afraid to go for it on 4th and short. 3rd and 6 here. Eckler still in the game. Want to see how electric they are right here? Washington may have you covered. 3rd and 6 as it is 5 yards on that carry. Eckler lined up wide left. Olamide Zaccheaus motions right. Lions send 4 after Daniels. Daniels poised in the pocket. Finds his man. Stop 1 yard shy. He was never tackled, it seems. No, they whistle him dead. Now what is the call here? Now Branch is injured. It looks like Dyami Brown was down by contact. Then gets up. And Branch is hurt and in visible pain. They are checking up on him. He was injured earlier in this drive. And it looks like the weight. So they mark him down 1 yard shy of the first down. Initially it was 12 yards, but they have marked him down 2 yards. We'll take a break here as they examine Branch. Commanders have as many fourth down failed conversions in the postseason as they do in the regular season. 3 of them, all of them last week at Tampa Bay. They have went for it before and they converted on 4th and short. They're going for it again on 4th and short. A Dan versus Dan matchup of 4th down battles. This is 4th and 2. Daniels is 17 of 25 for 250 yards. 2 touchdowns. Will this be another running play? They went run heavy on this drive. Zacchaeus motions towards the right side. This will be Jayden Daniels carrying it on his own, and he has a first down. On the right side, on 4th down, gamble pays off. 3 yards, they needed 2, they got 3, and that is what they needed to extend this drive. They don't want 3, they want 6. 7 as well. As Terrion Arnold saw that, as Jayden Daniels knew that Terrion Arnold does not have the gap advantage on that play. Maurice Norris is the deep safety. They're examining Brian Branch on the injury timeout. Nearly a minute to go. Tap pass for Eckler at the left side. Eckler makes a man miss, but reinforcements arrive quickly. Up front, and the Commanders are 6 yards away from pay dirt. Josh Paschal with the defensive stop. Lions may need a stop in any way possible. The Commanders have 3 takeaways off the Lions, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery. Frankie Louvu on the fumble recovery off the strip sack with Dorrance Armstrong. Quan Moore on a pick 6. Mike Sanders still on an interception at the end zone. 2nd and 3. If there's someone towards the left of Jayden Daniels, that is Austin Eckler. 3 guys right. Eckler, shotgun handoff towards the right, and there was just 1 yard, and that's it. Alex Anzalone made the tackle. Washington doesn't need to run a play to end out the 3rd quarter, and even though they haven't scored a touchdown on odd-numbered quarters, it's been more defensive thus far, but that 2nd quarter is when the floodgates broke open. 4th quarter is next. The Commanders still holding on to the lead, 31-28. We'll see if they can cap it off with a touchdown or if the Lions stop them. We're in the 4th quarter now. The Commanders leading 31-28. They have the ball here and they're in the red zone. 3rd and 2. They only need 2 yards to convert for a first down at the 5-yard line. Pistol set. And they're moving from left to right. White jerseys, red sweatpants. Lions in the all Honolulu blue. Up the middle, Robinson. No, Daniels is going to pass for Zach Ertz. He is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Terrion Arnold was right there. And now an interesting decision for Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury. Do they go for it again on 4th and 2? This is the spot where they were at last week when they faced the Buccaneers, in which they threw that touchdown to Terry McLaurin to take the lead. And they're going for it again. They're 2 for 3 on 4th down. Shotgun set with 2 receivers towards the left side, which includes McLaurin. They have to get it off in a hurry. And flags fly in. Was there movement or was this a false start? Too many men on the field. It's a free first down. It's just enough to get the first down. 12 players were out there on the field. They had one too many onto the field, but that's a lack of situational awareness. They were trying to read it and call timeout to get the extra player off the field, but the crowd was too loud. Right in the middle is Robinson trying to pop through. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a very close call, but they'll mark him very short. Just 1 yard there for Brian Robinson Jr. The knee was down before he got to the end zone. Jack Campbell was right there. But that's a lack of situational awareness, having 12 guys onto the field. Spike the police for the timeout. On 2nd and goal, half a yard to go. Touchdown, Commanders! Brian Robinson Jr. again. A deuce tonight after he was held out of the end zone last weekend, up to 67 yards. And that's feeding the rock to the Bama product. A lot of Bama products all over the field, which include Jahmyr Gibbs and Brian Branch. But Robinson has found the end zone twice, so has Gibbs. But now, Robinson's Commanders are out in front by 10 points. Pending the extra point from Zane Gonzalez, and it is the case. A minute 31 into the 4th quarter, and the Commanders, cardiac. They want to get the defense off the field. Oh, that did not go favors there. We'll be back. from Dale Earnhardt Jr. on Twitter, having tweeted out, "I don't know how this is all going to end, but darn it, this is fun. Hashtag raise hail." Of course, he'll take a 10-point halftime lead against arguably the best team in the NFL. Calvin Johnson is in attendance for this game. The Lions down by 10. This is the third 10-plus play scoring drive in this game. 15 plays, 70 yards. Washington took it the distance. As Detroit will return this out towards about the 18-yard line. Special teams have been excellent for Washington. At the 19-yard line, where the Lions will start their next drive. Their third 10-plus play scoring drive of the game. The first one resulted in a field goal, second in a touchdown, and this one in a touchdown. Since 1992, the Commanders have not been in an NFC Championship game appearance, 0-3 in the divisional round. But this could change tonight. Looking to maintain their perfect record against the Lions in the playoffs alive. For the middle, it is Montgomery. Montgomery tried to find a hole, and through a minimal glance, he had that about 4 yards, more or less about what is being talked about. 5 yards officially as Cleveland Farrell and Quan Martin were both there. And guess who's in the house? None other than Joe Gibbs himself. Team owner of Joe Gibbs Racing in the NASCAR Cup Series and the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Sam Laporta motions all the way to the right. Play fake for Montgomery. Goff through the middle. Back to Tim Patrick. First down as he shakes off one tackler. Past the 40. Out at the 45. Oh my word. Was he ever hit sticked out of bounds like that? And a good job by Patrick on staying put on his ground as he shakes off Frankie Louvu. That's a grown man stiff arm as he shook off Quan Martin before getting hit sticked by Jeremy Chin, who likes to go for the hit stick. Tim Patrick subs out. 14-22, 201 yards, 1 touchdown. Is Jameson Williams with Jared Goff blocking all to the right side. Intercepted! For the second time, it's Mike Sainristil. And Jameson Williams was the one throwing that time for Jahmyr Gibbs. Sainristil picking it up. Flag is down. I believe it's ineligible man downfield. Graham Glasgow caught right across the line of scrimmage. Wow. Can you imagine this? The Detroit Lions, 15-2 in the regular season. The final NFC North team to potentially fall. Ben Johnson tried to get too cute and it backfires. We'll be right back in a moment. turnovers on the night. Washington taking full advantage. 38-28 is the lead here in Detroit. And this crowd is stunned. A magical season by the Lions. Who knows that it is coming to an end tonight? Left side, Eckler trying to break free. Only 2 guys to beat. Brian Branch is catching up. And down at the 35. Branch is back in the game, so is Ifeatu Melifonwu. But this is a potential upset on the horizon. Eckler up for the middle as he gained ground, finding a wide open hole, 35 yards. 38-28 the lead here, and Washington not going away. Trips right, trips left. Joe Gibbs in the building. 4 minutes deep. Hand up the middle for Eckler, and he is down at the 26, maybe the 25. Josh Paschal with the tackle that time around, as the gaps were monitored very nicely by the Commanders. They mind the rush integrity lanes. Up for the middle for Eckler. Not a great time for a trick play at the right side for Jameson Williams and Ben Johnson. Not what you want to do. Don't get too cute with the ball. Keep it simple. Blake the handout for Eckler at the left. Daniels evades pressure. Dancing around, moving up front. Jayden Daniels spins out 2 guys. Reaches forward. He may have a first down again. He maybe appeared to be short. And now with 10 minutes left in this game, it appears to be 3rd and short. Or maybe a first down, actually. Lions fans shaking their heads with this. Washington, of course, feeling all the positive momentum right now. All the cheers that you're hearing, those are coming mostly from Commanders fans, knowing that they have something worth fighting for. Play clock down to 1. Did they get it off? No! They didn't get it off on time. It's delay of game. The Cardiac Commanders, that's what the nickname is about from Dan Quinn's team. This was no fluke. This is their best season they have had since the Super Bowl winning year with Mark Rippon under center. Under Joe Gibbs. And this team, so special. Joe Gibbs was the coach the last time the Commanders won a playoff game. That was 19 years ago. And now, taking down not only the Buccaneers, one of their longtime rivals, but the Lions, who they've had a lot of success in the playoffs against, is another major step, especially given the Lions have won 15 games this year. There's a long pile over at the middle. 3 yards for Jeremy McNichols. A lot of noise here in this crowd up front in 2nd and 12 as Washington's trying to get this to an insurmountable lead virtually. Daniels, pressure on his face. Catch made, right side. That is Ertz. The pressure doesn't matter. And a very aggressive play call from Aaron Glenn. But Daniels reads the pressure and delivers a dime to Zach Ertz. And if there's one defense that can deliver, it would normally be the Lions defense, but that hasn't been the case. 3rd and 2. As Washington is moving up front. Shotgun set for the Commanders. Daniels dropped. That was Terry McLaurin, and a rare drop for him. And a Washington offense that is normally doing no wrong. That was one of their very few miscues that time around. And a great season for Washington, an underdog of sorts. And they're taking that energy and thrusting it down Detroit's throats. Washington has converted 2 of 3 fourth downs tonight. Jayden Daniels, he's been awesome. Throws it to McLaurin, who makes up for the drop. Another fourth down conversion. And while it's not a touchdown, it does get a first down for 12 yards, 2 yards shy of the touchdown. The Commanders on the cusp of the NFC Championship game. Can you believe this? McLaurin made up for the drop. If the double hit both sides. First and goal. As they're over deep in Detroit territory, 1 yard out. Can potentially virtually seal it. Or B. No. Extra push. That's going to be close. The reach. Touchdown. Jeremy McNichols with the reach at the last moment, and Washington may be on the way to an unlikely NFC Championship game berth. The question is, was the elbow down? It doesn't appear to be so. McNichols reached out on time. And it worked out at the end with McNichols getting in from 1 yard out. And that is impressive. This Washington team is impressing from all angles. Taking out the 15-win Lions. The Commanders have been aggressive all year, and they're not changing a thing. They're beating the Lions in their own game tonight. An incredible display by Washington, showing no fear in their eyes. The extra point. It is good. And the Commanders, 7 minutes and 31 seconds away from the NFC Championship game. We'll be right back. Points tonight for the Commanders, handily beating the Lions in their own game and then some. The 15-win curse may still be going strong. Now 7.5 minutes to go here from an unlikely trip to the NFC Championship game. The Lions with backs against their walls. And the chances of winning for them are down to 0.5%. It's not looking good for them. 28 points and 4 turnovers. A strip sack, 3 interceptions. Twice off Jared Goff and once off Jameson Williams. Goff pumps and throws low. Oh my goodness. Jahmyr Gibbs has been the shining star for the Lions. But Detroit needing production from everyone else. Seeing most of it from Amon-Ra St. Brown, but we did not expect this to go this way. Oof. 14-23, 202 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Jahmyr Gibbs motions to the right of Penei Sewell. Goff deep drop back to his own 20. Evades pressure. Goes back for Gibbs. Makes Igbenogany miss. A first down here. The Lions down by 17. Need this quickly. Washington's changing their personnel. They have Khalif Raymond all the way to the right. Goff. Commanders send 4 after him. There's a right side. Diving catch. And Raymond was right there on the spot. The clock is still rolling. And it's not their friend. Jared Goff, he left the game to a concussion. But he was cleared from concussion protocol. He was evaluated for potential concussion. Wow. The circumstances here. 2 left. And motioning right is Laporta back to the left. 3 left and 1 right. Here's Goff again. 1 commander is down as Goff airs a moonshot to an open St. Brown. Immediately decked upon catching it. Able to hang on to that. The hit stick from Jeremy Chin. Never gets old. At that right side is St. Brown left over Sater still. For that catch at the 25-yard line. 6 catches, 111 yards for him. So reliable. Goff towards the left. He missed St. Brown, but not that much. Turnovers have been the defining factor of Washington's defense tonight. So now, and that has knocked Detroit off their rhythm with trick plays that backfired. 2nd and 10 with the Commanders up 45-28. Goff towards the middle, completes it to St. Brown at the 11-yard line. Something to get the rhythm going. Trying to fight their way back in this game for an improbable comeback. And Goff spikes the ball at the 12-yard line. They're playing the clock game right now. So a lot of things need to get set up here for Detroit if they were to mount the impossible. Down by 17, 5:44 to go, 2nd and 10. Defense is set up. You have to start going right here. Gibbs motions right. Commanders blitz. And Goff is off target. Oh my goodness. Gibbs was trucked as this ball goes wide of him as Goff was hurried up. 5:40 to go in the 4th quarter. 3rd and 10. And Joe Witt Jr. should get a lot of credit for how his defense has adjusted to this Lions and its offense. In accounting for their every move and step. Trips left, 1 right. Running back is Gibbs. Here's Goff. Swings it out for Gibbs towards the left side. He is forced out. It's 4th and long. They need 17 points. So essentially, their season's on the line. They're going to decide to set out Jake Bates here for a field goal. The clock is running, but they got to hurry up. The clock is ticking. 4th and 8. You need to get the kick off in a hurry. Jake Bates who has made 26 of 29 on field goal attempts this season. 28 yards on the left hash. And yes, there's one more for that. Now you got to get 2 touchdowns and 2 onside kicks. Commanders are believing. Joe Gibbs is believing. 5:01 to go. Josh Harris bought this team a couple seasons ago. He's done an amazing job turning his team around from the ground up. The long process taking 2 years to make the playoffs. Here's an onside kick that is bouncing several times and is illegal. A live ball. And Washington recovers. They corralled at the end after a very chaotic sequence. Zach Ertz was the one recovering. As he and Jalen Reeves-Maybin were both going after the ball was batted, but Ertz hung on to it the entire way. He grabbed it on the way to the ground, down by contact. So 4:57 to go, fourth quarter. Washington up by 2 touchdowns, 45-31. Robinson in a short gain as the Lions defense is trying to hold. Bobby Wagner and Jared Goff being Walter Payton Man of the Year nominees for Washington and Detroit. So that is for the charitable efforts that these two do to their communities around. Robinson accounting for 2 rushing touchdowns on the night for the Commanders. An upset of epic proportions here. Diami Brown on a fake, but it's an inside handoff for Robinson up the middle. that there's a lot that this Washington team has done throughout this game that's made them into one of the league's best surprise stories. So the Lions have taken their first time out of this fourth quarter, down by 2 touchdowns. But can you imagine? Oh my goodness. This Commanders team winning their first two playoff games in a long time. 3rd and 5 and another timeout. It's Washington calling the timeout. So take a look at the NHL. Right now, the Colorado Avalanche win 6-3 on the Dallas Stars. Arturi Lehkonen with 2 goals and 2 assists. Cale Makar also scoring twice. Casey Middlestat having a down season for him. Does get a goal. Jonathan Drouin with the other goal. Matt Duchene, Jason Robertson twice with the Dallas Red Lamps. Florida Panthers blank. The Anaheim Ducks 3-0 was Spencer Knight stopping all 34 Duck shots. John Gibson, 42 saves in the loss for Anaheim. Jesper Boquist, Anton Lundell, and Gustav Forsling with the goals for Florida in the win. John Bates motion swept. You can imagine it's going to be a run for Washington. No, it's a play fake. Daniels of a deep shot to left side finds a man. John Bates at the 35-yard line. A lot of bodies at the line of scrimmage, but nobody accounted for Bates, who found himself wide open at the left side. This Lions defense banged up left and right defensively. The injuries caught up to them, it seems. Has had a good season and a magical one. Came for so long, but sadly, you can only go with next man up for so long before it finally bites you. Washington 322 away. McNichols for the left side. He gets 3 yards on this. A lot of these games, a lot of this comes down to both quarterback play and the defensive turnovers. 299 yards through the air for Jayden Daniels. 2 touchdowns as well. 14 rushes, 51 yards. This Lions defense has found a lot of success blitzing pocket passers. But they found trouble blitzing mobile quarterbacks. And against the mobile quarterback, it's bit them. And they were soundly beaten in their own game. 3:18 to go. So Lions have taken their second timeout. Shotgun for the Commanders. Daniels is going to keep it. Both options were closed off in an instant. Are the Lions going to use their final timeout? They will. This would be the Commanders' first NFC Championship game in 33 years. Again, another Joe Gibbs record that stands for Washington. The first playoff game victory in 90 years, that's a Joe Gibbs record. NFC and AFC Championship games will be next weekend. The NFC will be first at 3 Eastern. AFC is at 6:30 Eastern. 45-31, 3rd and 6. Lions are winding up the box at the line of scrimmage. Through the middle, it is Robinson. He is stopped. Lions out of timeouts. Is Washington going to run the ball on 4th down? They'll take it down to near where the play clock is going to run out. And so the Commanders will be the 3rd NFC East team to make the NFC Championship game this century. The only one that is not on that list being the Dallas Cowboys, who have not made an NFC title game since their Super Bowl, since the last time they won a Super Bowl. Play clock, 2 1, and Zane Gonzalez is out there to kick a potential field goal on 4th and 1. They're not going for it this time, and the Commanders are calling their second timeout. Lions fans starting to leave the building. 2:31 to go. This feels in that Tampa game, Washington made the smart plays and held on to the ball right around and held on to the ball for longer. They played the time possession game to perfection as they outplayed a Tampa Bay in the time possession by 12 minutes. This is a 44-yarder straightaway. It doesn't mean much. And Zane Gonzalez for the Commanders. A chance to make it a 17-point lead? Well, no. Wide left. So the Lions, with a faint pulse here, with 2:26 to go, they don't have a timeout, but they have the 2-minute warning. The last time they got to the NFC Championship game, it was when Pat Summerall and John Madden were paired together in the broadcast booth. The then Washington Redskins defeated the Detroit Lions 41-10, and Joe Gibbs' unit stomped them on every turn. A unit led by Mark Rippon, and Joe Gibbs being one of the pioneers of the trips formation. Goff sacked. Oh, blown up by Dorrance Armstrong. You give a defensive line this much fuel, they're going to come after this. This defensive line deserves a lot of credit on pressuring Goff all throughout the day and giving him no space. 2nd and 21. Goff throws it short and shallow to Laporta. And we are now at the 2-minute warning with 1:57 to go. An upset of epic proportions. The Washington Commanders potentially going on their first NFC Championship game appearance in 33 years. The 2024-25 playoffs. So Washington, having picked off the Lions 3 times, twice off Jared Goff and once off Jameson Williams, they have been impressive all throughout this game. And the highest scoring second quarter since Super Bowl 52. And both teams combining for at least 600 yards of offense. Both teams currently have 482 yards of total offense. The first game, which this game is equipped 600 yards of offense and a half in a first half since Super Bowl 52. Washington has a timeout left, but Detroit has that 2-minute warning slip by them. In the Toronto Maple Leafs, they scored 7 unanswered on the Montreal Canadiens after going down by 3. Big third period, scoring 5 there. William Nylander, Bobby McMahon, Oliver Ekman-Larsson being the big standouts from that game. 3rd down and 10. As a trips formation towards the right side. Goff dropping straight away back. Shallow pass for Gibbs as he's trying to plow forward. Not a lot of room to run through. Half a yard short. And the Lightning down to Red Wings 5-1. Braden Point, Jake Enso, Nikita Kucherov, Mitchell Chafee, and Darren Radish. Oh, anything there's. We have something on display, I believe. We will take a look about the spot the ball. That's a something. Rangers got a shootout victory, 1-0. Vincent Trocheck with the only shootout goal. No goals throughout this game. Igor Shesterkin and Danil Tarasov both earned shutouts, stopping 27 and 26 shots respectively. The Capitals demolished the Penguins 4-1 for their 4th win in a row. Alexei Protas and Pierre-Luc Dubois each with a goal and an assist. Dubois on the power play, Protas at even strength. Protus is enjoying a breakout year too. And the Flames down the Jets 3-1 for a Cinderella season. Dustin Wolf for 38 saves. Matt Coronado and Andrei Kuzmenko with the goals for Calgary at even strength. Blake Coleman on the empty net. The Islanders down the Sharks 4-1. Matt Barzal and Brock Nelson each have a goal and an assist in the win. Noah Dobson and Ryan Pollock with the goals for the Islanders outside Barzal and Nelson. Barclay Goodrow for the Sharks his third year. The Chicago Blackhawks down to Vegas Golden Knights 5-3. Tomas Hertl with a deuce. For Chicago is Tyler Bertuzzi with deuce. Taylor Hall, Seth Jones, and Lucas Reichel. Victor Olofsson with the other goal for Chicago. The Nashville Predators defeat the Minnesota Wild 6-2. Philip Forsberg, 2 goals, 2 assists. Colton Sisson, Steven Stamkos, Fedor Svechkov, and Brady Shea on the empty net. That last one. So those are the later final scores on the NHL. Another final score from the NBA. The Golden State Warriors defeat the Washington Wizards 122-114. 38 points for Jordan Poole in his return to Golden State with 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Kyle Kuzma, 22.6 rebounds, 4 assists. Poole got the revenge game field, 12 of 25 shooting, 8 of 15 from deep. For Golden State, Andrew Wiggins put up 31 with 11 points and 4 assists. 11 rebounds, 4 assists. 2 blocks. Steph Curry with 26, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Dennis Schroeder, 20 points, 4 assists. So they're resetting the clock for the 10-second runoff. 141. The clock will start on Ron Torbert's signal. Last hope here. Well, it's essentially been a lost game for the Lions. Goff, on 4th down, does he have to run for it? He will use his legs. And he'll get the first down midfield. Got enough to run. Barely alive here. And they're getting down in good positioning. So Washington played a perfect game. 8 plus offense, 8 plus defense. To the tune of 45 points. The Quan Martin pick 6 also helped them. Goff shaking to the left side, finding an open man. That's Laporta as he shakes off Chin. 11 yards out of this. Lions clearly going hurry up, knowing that there's minimal time here as they spike it with 1:13 left. Utah's up 4-2. Vancouver up 3-1. Seattle up 3-2 on St. Louis, Edmonton, and Los Angeles respectively in the NHL. Something to dial up. Maybe a moonshot. Probably take your chances. And then spike the ball. Use some time for the onside kick. Then get a Hail Mary situation. Here's Goff on 2nd and 10 for the 39. Deep drop back. Will find Raymond. Slides down. Gives himself up. They have to get the ball to an official. Ball spotted at the middle of the field. Everyone has to get back behind the line of scrimmage. Here's Goff. Again. Going short. Oh, dropped. It does stop the clock with 51 seconds left. Oof. And Jamison Williams is all the way near the left post. That took up a lot of time. You don't want that. They're going to say 4th and 1. 6 drop passes in the regular season for the Lions. 3 of them have come tonight. No time to waste. The Lions must go for it. Here's Goff. Towards the right side. That's caught by St. Brown. To the red zone. They have to hurry. They got to go now. They got to go now. No timeouts. They have to spike it. And they do. 39 seconds to go. You got to take end zone shots here. You got to take shots towards the end zone. That's the goal here. Second down and 10, 39 to go. Gotta have it. It is a shotgun set, 2 left and 2 right. Lions being banged up defensively. Goff backpedaling all the way. Under heavy duress. Goff finally gets rid of it, and it's towards the dirt. Williams didn't look at it. Third down, but end zone shots. That was the key. There was pressure on Goff all day long. It was more of a pocket passer. The norm here being mobile quarterbacks, and Jayden Daniels showed that to the full extent. It got powered his way out that heavy pressure up for the middle. That was Percy Butler up for the middle at that side. Third and 10. Last chance for the Lions. Goff fired towards the end zone. Intercepted up front. And that'll ice it. Jeremy Chinn seals the deal. This executive order signed and with a stamp of approval from Dan Quinn. This Commanders defense, with their 5th takeaway of the game, this one has iced it. And the Washington Commanders, the Cardiac Commanders, moving on to the NFC Championship game to either Los Angeles or Philadelphia, where they will wait for the outcome for tomorrow's game between the Eagles and the Rams. Jayden Daniels take one final kneel down. There it is. Cinderella. The Commanders. The slipper is still on. For the first time since 1991-92, the Commanders are on full marches on the way to the NFC Championship game, and these Commanders are not discharged from the military. They are valiant. They are good. Scarily good. Took the Lions to the bridges on the road in a tough environment and knocked them out 45-31. 5 takeaways on defense, 4 of them being interceptions. 2 of them from Mike Saterstill, 1 from Quan Martin, 1 from Jeremy Chinn. A strip sack from Dorrance Armstrong, resulting in a Frankie Louvu fumble recovery. And Jayden Daniels did the rest. 22 of 31, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns for 122.9 passer rating, adding 15 rushes for 52 yards. Brian Robinson Jr., 15 carries, 77 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Donnie Brown with 6 catches, 98 yards. Scary Terry, 4 catches, 87 yards, and a touchdown. Zach Ertz, 5 catches, 28 yards, and a touchdown. To outduel Jared Goff, who finishes 23 of 40 for 313 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Jameson Williams with an interception to add to that as well. Jahmyr Gibbs, 14 carries, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jameson Williams, 1 carry, 61 yards, and a touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 catches, 137 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, 6 catches, 70 yards. Sam Laporta, 6 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown. That is all from Ford Field. The Commanders season ends in heartbreak and a hospital ward. While if the Lions season ends with heartbreak and a hospital ward, the Commanders are still marching on to the NFC Championship game. That's all from Ford Field. I am Alec Nava saying so long and good night.